Anyway, we'll blast off. Only 3 more years of Trump to go, boys. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can make it. Cause like it's if it goes like this past year, if Trump continues to behave and the admin continues to behave like it's been behaving this past year, I don't know if I will survive it. I don't know if any of us will survive it, really. They have to basically dial it back a little bit, you know? But in any case, all right, we got SCOTUS rejects Chicago military deployment, Christmas Eve, Van Lathan in the building. He's going to be here at 3 p.m. Okay. Why can't why can't I at on Twitter sometimes? It's so fucking annoying. I think you didn't read the CNN profile yet? No, I did not. That's true. I did not even read it. What's Van's? Okay, Van Lathan is just Van Lathan. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Van Lathan in the building. Christmas forgiveness, banana peels, socialism is tomorrow. Get in now. Wish you'd invite Mark Ruffalo over this year. I think I can get him. I don't think he's that ungettable. Was the inmate firefighters this year? No, I think that was last year. That was like last winter, right? Pretty sure. Hit up Mehdi. He's got the connect. Please wear the flowy romantic white shirt you've been wearing lately. Thanks. Have you ever gone skiing or snowboarding? Yes, when I was a kid. But my dad was always so worried that he stopped letting me go on trips in Turkey because he was worried that if I like injure myself, I'll die. So I think it was like by the time I got to like 8th grade, he just wouldn't let me go skiing and snowboarding anymore. I've never snowboarded, but I used to ski all the time when I was a kid, and then he made me stop. Do you guys have you aren't injury prone at all? I mean, I'm not that injury prone, but things have changed obviously. Where do we have a blast off meme? Also, I can't really do it now. Obviously, I can't do it any longer because I am definitely injury prone now. Has Kai been in the snow? No, but we're working on it. We're working on bringing her to her natural habitat. Grenadine Zero, thank you for the 10 tier 1 gifted subs. Do we have a blast off meme chat? Or nah? Okay, we do have one. All right, hold on. All right. The firefighter was this year in January. Hassan, crazy year. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Did I interview the firefighters this year? Bro, what the fuck? Bro, I had a insane year, dude. Was that this year? The Palisades fire was this year? Oh my God. Oh my God. It is this fucking year. Talking to the prisoner firefighters California uses to fight wildfires. Yeah, Kim Kardashian posted my ass, dude. I mean, no, she didn't actually give me recognition, but it's all good. Yup, it was the beginning. You went and rescued Will and Caroline. Yeah. Bro, why do you look 5 years younger? Dog, it's literally the beard. When will you guys learn? Dog terrorist. I like the evolution. I like the evolution of like, yeah, it's the beard, chat. If I shave this entire thing, you will go, oh my God, you look like a baby. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. I mean, this in and of itself is also a perfect example of this. As you can tell, no beard last Christmas. I was injured last Christmas too, by the way. Pretty sure I was injured here as well. I can't remember what it was. It might have been the ankle injury, the first ankle injury on the right. But I'm pretty sure I remember like being injured somehow. But yeah, this is the oldest Christmas photo of me from when I first started snapping these pics. Okay. This is from, wait, what the fuck? This is from the first Christmas. Look at the thick beard, no beard, thick beard, even thicker beard, less of a thick beard, no beard. And when you look at it, when I have no beard, I look much younger. Yeah. Little fish too. I'm literally wearing one of those Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself ugly Christmas sweaters on this one, by the way. Kind of corny, but you know, I'll cop to it. I'm wearing the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself Christmas sweater here. Ask Van why he posted this and claim it wasn't AI. You're so dumb. I think he knows this AI. 2026 is going to be insane though. Dude, I don't know I don't know if we're being real. I don't know if we can beat 2025. Now that I realize that the firefighters happened in January, like I this is the most insane year that I've ever had. Japanuary, China last month, Ireland, so much travel. I don't give myself enough credit. I really personally think like, oh, I ain't doing shit. I'm not doing anything. I'm like sitting around all day, every day. Zoran, France, Formula 4. I know that I flew a fucking stunt jet. I flew a stunt plane and did dogfighting on a stunt plane, which is crazy. Imagine yourself next Christmas. Was the Oxford talk this year? No. I believe Oxford was last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. My brother got married. Dick Cheney died the day Zoran won. We were there for the celebrations. God damn. It's a bad year for my fucking haters, dude. You know what? It's Christmas Eve, and in the spirit of Christmas, I'm gonna feel for my haters this year. It was a bad year to be a Hasanabi hater. It was not a good year to be a Hasanabi hater. I mean, they try so fucking hard. They try so goddamn hard. What is happening? This fucking camera, dude. They try so goddamn hard, and it was just like, they just couldn't comprehend. They were like, why is this guy getting so much good coverage? Just like, I don't know, man, because I think I did a lot. Now, of course, we'll look at all the stuff. We'll look at all the, all the year-end review as we often do during the holiday season, But 2026 will, I think, be the return of the woke. So I do think that there will be some crazy stuff happening. Your stats are so green, the Pelosi's might invest in you. Oh, this is my YouTube. Like, this doesn't even count. You know what I mean? This is like, this is just the extra stuff on the side, Have you done a predictions look back yet? I did. I did my predictions look back. It was mostly green light. And there was like one that I got wrong. But that's pretty much it. 1 million more files were just recovered. The Department of Justice claims that over 1 million new documents have been uncovered as related to the Epstein case. This is only going to fuel more conspiracies. Oh my fucking Lord. Can't take your YouTube stats at face value. Group of idiots, mass dislike, whatever you upload. Wait, what? What are you talking about? It's still fucking crazy good. I'm about to reach 1 billion views on my YouTube channel. And it's not my primary fucking output. How the fuck is no one in prison right now? For the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is a great question. It's called Everyone is a Pedophile Defending Other Pedophiles, chatter. That's what it is. My brother in Christ, I guarantee 2026 is going to be bigger. Who's going to be the, recession within? Who's going to be, recession within the first half of the year? Trump will be impeached, taken out of service somehow. Russia will make strikes against NATO land. The Democratic Party will become the Democratic Socialists at large. Those are my big predictions. I mean, some of those are way too hopeful. And some of those are way too pessimistic. But we'll figure it out. This is How the World Works by Bo Burnham. 2026 is an election year, so it will be. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fucking crazy year regardless as Donald Trump is president. Let's be real, is always crazy. Yeah, he's going to be, Donald Trump is doing, lame shit, tracking NORAD Santa, doing all that stuff to be like, haha, yeah, guess what? We're, why could my mom be possibly calling me? Efendim anne? Anne? Okay. She's literally right next to me. Like, she's on the other side of the door and she's, accidentally calling me. She hung up because it was a butt dial. In any case, we'll get started here. Dangerous scenario unfolding in Southern California for a potent storm. There is like, people often laugh and they go, "Oh, what do you mean? Oh, it's the fucking raining in LA. Oh, alert the press it's raining in LA. But as I say every year around this time, two things you must understand. Number one, when it rains even a little bit in Los Angeles, it's devastating. Partially because the Los Angeles infrastructure is not used to the rain, even at this point. Okay? Even though it rains quite frequently in the winter now in LA, as opposed to in the past, the Los Angeles infrastructure is not used to the rain, and we have not actually upgraded our infrastructure to make it more resilient. So even a little bit of water ends up cooking everything, okay? And it's also, additionally, God damn it. What the fuck is happening, bro? Why is this? The camera focus is so busted today. I don't know how. I don't move anything around in this fucking room. And then it's just like, it's just focusing on ethnic standard for some reason. There we go. It might be better this way, hopefully. Bro got mad cows, a problem with weightlifting? Yes. Okay, so as I was saying, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh, when it rains in Los Angeles, the infrastructure can't handle it and it's busted and everything falls apart. But then also on top of that, the rain, the unimaginable amount of rain will cause like mudslides, things of that nature, and it will actually destroy, it will overhydrate it'll overhydrate the vegetation, and then after that comes wildfires, as you guys know, because it then dries out super hard, and then you have crazy wildfires when wildfire season comes around. And obviously last year there was a unique one in January. Everybody always says, just FYI, I had too much of a hectic year to do the recap, but Hassan is doing it this year. Hell yeah, little bear. Yeah. First it rains super hard and everybody goes, well, we need it. Okay. Well, we need it. And then people go, never mind. I guess we didn't need it this much. What the fuck, dude? Okay, there it is. This is annoying me. Did you already cover the Andrew Tate fight? Yes, I did. Wildfires and that dry, strong, steady wind is not a good combo too, so the wildfire gets hotter than most other wildfires in other areas. Is this still out of focus? I'm gonna go crazy. Trash Lumix gets Sony. I agree. It is trash. Kai loves the rain. No, she doesn't. She actually, she doesn't mind it. She doesn't mind running outside in the rain, but it's not good that she gets super wet.
A storm carrying what's called an atmospheric river is hitting California as we speak. Evacuation orders or warnings have been issued to thousands of residents. Now, amid a growing risk of life-threatening flooding and debris flows there, you see some of the damage already. This is significant flooding happening in some parts of the state. And we just got new video from the San Bernardino County Fire Department. That shows floodwaters there and debris rushing across State Route 2 in Wrightwood, California. The entire state is expected to be impacted by this system. CNN meteorologist Allison Chinchar is tracking all of this for us.
We have that high risk issued for today. That is a level 4 out of 4, the highest it can possibly be across portions of Southern California. You can see indicated by that pink color on the map. Now, to emphasize, a high risk is incredibly rare. They only account for about 4% of the days throughout the year, but 80% of damages. Now, as we transition into Christmas Day, you'll note we still have a higher risk. It's just a level 3 out of 4 for some of the same areas. Now, one of the biggest concerns within these stronger risk areas are the potential for what they could do to some of the areas where we had recent wildfires. All 3 of these little white specks you see here are burn scar locations. When you get heavy amounts of rain on them, most of the water just rushes right off. It's not absorbed into the ground like it normally would be. So the concern is these next couple of waves of moisture that are going to be arriving. The first one through the overnight hours tonight, say about 1, 2 a.m. And also even as we head into the afternoon, another round starts to slide back into portions of Southern California. So we still have a lot of moisture left to go, not just for the remainder of the day today, but also Christmas Day and even into Friday. So when we still look at some of the forecast numbers, you can see a lot of these areas still expected to get about 3 to 5 inches of rain, but some isolated possibilities pockets of 6 to 10 inches is not out of the question. Remember, this 6 to 10 is on top of what these areas have already had, which is a substantial amount in some of these communities. Also, snow. We're still looking at an extra 1 to 3 feet across portions of the Sierras. This means if you have travel plans, say from Reno or Tahoe back over to, say, San Francisco and Sacramento, you're likely going to encounter some delays there on the roads as that snow continues to pile back up over the next.
Bro, I can't run. My ankles are busted. I'm sticking it. Okay. I'm standing proud. However many inches I receive, I will be in it. Okay. Up to my ankles, up to my knees. I can't go anywhere.
48 hours. We also have the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. So in addition to the flooding threat, we also have potential for some damaging winds, some small hail, and yes, we can't rule out the potential for an isolated tornado in some of these green shaded areas that you see through here through the overnight timeline. One of the key things this area needs is dry weather. Unfortunately, at least for the next 3 days, we still have rain in the forecast for LA. Some of the surrounding areas like San Diego, Sacramento, San Francisco also going to be looking at several more days of rain. The one bit of good news is, though,
I guess Donald Trump did unlock the water in California, right? As he promised. He was like, I'm going to open up the water. There it is. I said I would bring water to California, and I did it. Los Angeles, aren't you happy?
once we get to the weekend, we should finally start to see things dry back out.
It's gonna be wetter from the standpoint of water. Wetter than anyone has ever seen before.
Temperatures will also start to go back up as well.
CNN's Julia Vargas Jones is out in it for us. Julia, the sun is...
Oh, I can't wait. My favorite thing is, you know, sending like Anderson Cooper or like random newscasters to stand in ankle deep water and be like, it's really bad out here, Karen. Believe me.
Now up as you've been with us all morning. What are you hearing from state and local officials about this now?
Yeah, weather person torture. My favorite type of content.
Well, just in the past hour, Kate, we're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. The forecast is of winds picking up to 70 miles an hour. This is up until this evening across different parts of Los Angeles. Here where we are in Altadena, what we're seeing as we're driving around these streets is the effects of those winds. We're starting to see more of that, and the rain still intensifying. It's supposed to get worse in the next hours still. More rain at around 9 a.m. in the local hour. Of course, the major concern here in these burn scar areas is the debris. Up on this way is the San Gabriel Mountains. That's also fire scar, burn scar areas. The debris flow could be pretty damaging here. It could bring down cars, trees, all sorts of debris, and that is what one of the main concerns of officials here. That is why they have ordered some specific homes to evacuate, and now they're going door to door, those warning areas, telling people.
I'm texting while driving on the 405. I can barely see through the rain. See now, this is exactly why Los Angeles folks are not ready for any rain whatsoever. Okay? Because, like, as someone who went to college in New Jersey, as someone who was in, in the East Coast, everybody knows you can text and drive in the rain with ease if you're used to it, right? But you can't do it because Californians are used to texting and driving when it's sunny and 60, 65. California drivers don't know how to text and drive when it's raining, even under light drizzle, and they turn into Mr. Vehicular Manslaughter, you know? Love you, Merry Christmas. Okay, be safe, chatter. Perhaps you should stop texting and driving. Don't support this chatter's actions. You have perfectly good knees you can drive with. That way you have a free hand for Dunkin' coffee and one hand for texting. Well, I'm more in the Alex Jones camp where it's like I use both of my hands, one to basically enunciate certain words, like just say certain words with more emphasis, and then the other to hold my camera. And then I also like to switch angles. So a lot of people, some people actually think, you can text and drive with one hand on the wheel, one hand while you're texting. Other people actually think, oh, you can, film yourself with one hand while you're driving with the other. But real pros know you actually put, you let Jesus take the wheel, right? You let Jesus take the wheel and you film yourself with one hand, and then you move your hand while you're talking with the other hand. And you use it with your knees. You drive with the knees.
Of the danger of what they could be facing in the coming hours and in the coming days. This is not supposed to stop, Kate, for another 3 days. That's where those warnings are going to be into place until Thursday evening. That's why officials here are saying, look, we know that it's a bummer this Christmas, but if you don't have to leave your house, don't leave your house. Don't risk driving on those flooded roads. Better safe than sorry, Kate.
Absolutely. Taking this rain and storm threat very seriously on California.
The Supreme Court has.
Yeah. Also, a tiny little dub from SCOTUS here, 6-3 decision, emergency block on Trump deploying National Guard to Chicago. Obviously, this isn't like a precedent-setting thing at all, but obviously lower courts will take a look at this because there's a bunch of other active court cases on Trump's deployment all around the country, and they will, all the woke lower courts will probably take their nose from SCOTUS here and decide to maybe also put a stop to it, but who knows? Who knows?
Dealt a significant blow to the Trump administration, blocking the president from deploying the National Guard to Chicago. In the 6-3 ruling, the court's 3 liberal justices were joined by Chief Justice John Roberts.
After 3 years of having you on the family TV while home for the holidays, my lib parents are full Hasanabi heads. Hey, shout out.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Brett Kavanaugh. And today's decision could jeopardize Guard deployments in other cities. With us now, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Holding is a former federal prosecutor. Walk us through the reasoning here from the Supreme Court, which I have to say is truly interesting.
It really is. It's an unusual decision and a major setback for the Trump administration, not just in Chicago, but more broadly. The law that Donald Trump used to deploy the National Guard in the first place says that the president can call out the National Guard if he is unable with regular forces, we're going to come back to that, okay, regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Now, the Trump administration argued that means if he's unable with regular cops, with FBI, DEA, ICE to enforce the laws, then you can call in the National Guard. What the Supreme Court said is, no. That phrase, regular forces, that means the regular military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and only those very narrow areas where the military is even allowed to come in and execute the laws in the first place. So basically, the Supreme Court has put the bar very high to deploy the National Guard in the future and has limited it to an almost minuscule slice of all conduct on the streets. It's going to make it very difficult for the president to justify the National Guard in Portland, New York, anywhere else.
Explain why this mattered in Chicago, but didn't play in Los Angeles or in Portland, Oregon, where the Guard was also deployed.
So I think you and I discussed Los Angeles and D.C. were different. D.C. was different. Trump was allowed generally to deploy there because the president is in charge of the D.C. National Guard, okay? Put that to the side. L.A. was different, Los Angeles, because there were protests that at times turned violent happening there. The rationale in Chicago is much more generalized. Just, well, crime rates are high and it's very dangerous. And the Supreme Court has said that's not enough for this specific statute.
Yeah, and again, for it to be allowed in cities like Chicago in these circumstances, it would have to get past posse comitatus, right?
Right.
Yes. Which means what?
You with your Latin phrases, which means that the military traditionally cannot conduct regular law enforcement activities. They can't make traffic stops. They can't do searches.
There has never been, since Donald Trump took over, okay, since the Trump regime started, there has not been a single instance where the deployment of the National Guard was actually valid. And any liberal person that makes it seem as though there was a valid deployment of the National Guard is delusional, okay? Not valid in Los Angeles, not valid in Chicago. It is ridiculous. As a matter of fact, it was extra ridiculous in Los Angeles. I was there. You guys saw it directly. Unless you're talking about a natural disaster that took place, at which point it's usually the governor that deploys the National Guard. That's not what we're talking about. That's normal. We're talking about the federalized National Guard against the wishes of the governor. The federalized National Guard from the White House, getting their directives from the White House. That is what is a violation of the law here. Posse comitatus, utilizing the military as a domestic police force. There are rules in the rule books against this sort of thing. It's pretty clear. And yet Trump did do this over and over and over again. And he did this in the silliest ways possible. And here we are.
And really only provide a very basic security function. So it's very, very narrow. So this decision really leaves very limited room for Trump to deploy the National Guard elsewhere. They can try to argue circumstances are different, but
how is this not easy grounds for impeachment? Brother, sister, the emperor. Trump does impeachable shit every single day. Every single day at this point. So if everything is impeachable and no impeachments are coming, then I guess technically nothing is impeachable. He can do whatever he wants.
if the argument's just going to be, well, it's dangerous, that's not going to cut it.
Where they're not invited is also important, too.
Yes. Well, it's a big difference if the governor requests aid.
Right.
That changes the whole legal calculus. Interesting coalition here, right? We're so used to these 6-3 decisions, 6 conservatives versus 3 liberals. Here you had Chief Justice Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, and Brett Kavanaugh joining with the liberals, leaving the 3 conservatives complaining about this. This was an emergency docket case, meaning there was not full briefing, there was no oral argument, and there's been criticism of the emergency docket. The way this plays is whoever loses hates the emergency docket.
All right, again, very interesting reasoning, could have a vast impact depending on where else the president wanted to deploy the Guard in the next coming months.
How would you refute the critique of the argument you made the other day? Immigrants can't simultaneously steal jobs and welfare with the counter argument. You are viewing migrants as a monolith. In reality, some migrants steal jobs and some migrants steal welfare. I like that you're utilizing woke argumentation. Immigrants are all stealing jobs or immigrants are all stealing welfare is already a monolithic understanding of immigrants that are, by definition, coming from every single part of the planet. Like, totally different backgrounds, totally different places. It is the least monolithic force that Republicans actively turn into a monolith in an effort to propagandize against them. The reality of the matter is it's neither, okay? They're not stealing jobs and they're not stealing welfare. This concept is idiotic. America already has very limited social safety nets to begin with, and migrants cannot access those limited social safety nets. And they're not actually stealing jobs either. You cannot steal a job. Okay? That's not how this goes. So both of that, every part of this argument is wrong. But thank you for attempting to say, well, some migrants are stealing jobs and some migrants are stealing welfare. I understand that. I just heard someone make that argument. Okay, well, I hope you were able to respond to that person by asking a very simple question. How does one steal a job? You can absolutely steal a job. Look at the Dominate group in America. Most of them are not in there because they're qualified. What time does Ro Khanna coming on? Does anyone know? Every time I see a flood or fire, I automatically think my home insurance premium's going up. I just don't see why California, Texas, Florida, Washington just don't self-insure at this point. Ro Khanna cycle chatter. Ro Khanna is not coming on today. Migrants do not steal jobs. They get hired because they are willing to work as cheap labor, unlike non-migrants. It's just capitalism working as intended. Yes, but the solution to that or the protection to that should be coming from the government. Wage parity and proper documentation would actually clear up the 2-tier labor system that we have, except that's too favorable to the capitalists. The racists don't want that. Because then they're like, why are we even letting brown people into the country? And the capital owners don't want that because then obviously they have to pay higher wages and offer better benefits to every single person. Okay? But that's it. If you were to ensure wage parity, wage protection, and proper documentation for every single person that is working on US soil, you would eradicate a lot of these problems. Because there is no such thing as there is no lump of labor. There is no like finite amount of labor and finite amount of jobs that are available. When more people come in, then there's more necessity for additional jobs. There's more necessity for housing, for example. There's more necessity for roads. There's more necessity for upkeep. Economies scale. If that was the case, then smaller countries would be doing fine and larger countries would be failing. Obviously, that's not the case. The only problem with the current structure that we have is that it's one that benefits capital owners greatly, because you can depress the domestic labor force's wages by consistently matching them against an undocumented pool of labor that you basically enslave. Anyway, let's continue.
Elioni, great to
I don't
see
know
you.
how the
Great
fuck
holiday.
we got here.
SC Cup and Max Rose are with me. So, Max, you know, you've had, and you've got other cities where lower courts have also ruled against the president, but this is from the Supreme Court, and this is resounding is 6-3.
Sure.
You know, 2 of his handpicked justices making very clear how.
The problem with migrants working in specific areas that nationals don't enter is because they've lived in different conditions and live in a privileged bubble coming from a country where migration has sadly become a part of our culture. I can tell you people take these jobs because of their necessity and their underqualification, not to minimize their efforts, but they come from a third world country culture. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you're talking, first of all, there is literally no group, no ethnic group in this country that hasn't come from a third world country culture. Okay? My family came from a third world country culture. You understand? Like that mentality is idiotic. Like, you think when the Irish were coming here, they were coming from a profoundly wealthy country? No, they weren't. You think when the Polish were coming here, they were coming from a profoundly wealthy nation that was super developed? No, of course not. The United States has always been a nation state that relies on people coming from, you know, destabilized or developing countries. It's just so stupid. The notion that the United States of America, first of all, I'm not even talking about like the United States of America resembling a Turkey is NATO, is not third world. Yes, they're not using third world in the actual the way that it's intended to be used. Third world is in non-aligned with the United States or aligned with the Soviet bloc. They're using third world as developing nations, okay? I'm just using the way that they're using third world. Why are you entertaining third world as anything but a cloak for not white? Except I'm not doing that. I'm actually utilizing I'm expanding on the definition by explaining it to people that, like, every single person that came to the United States of America in big migrant patterns came from a country that was developing. And when they were first received, they were considered to not be a part of the white in-group. This is a big part of understanding the concept of whiteness, understanding the socio-political construct of whiteness. Okay? Why are you responding to these attention seekers? I don't know. I'm in a good mood. White group, bro, no one think like that except you. You're right. I shouldn't describe the socio-political construct that is known as whiteness, that was specifically designed to show proximity to blackness as a way to justify chattel slavery and as a way to create this like in-group, out-group dynamic, because a lot of people don't agree with me. I mean, this is a real concept in politics. This is a real concept in sociology. Should I not describe things that are too complex because, regular folk won't agree with it or don't believe it? Is that I should probably stop doing everything that I've been doing so far. Anyway, you a white foe? Bro, black people created this dynamic. Why you lying as always? Yeah, black people created the concept of whiteness so they could justify their own further enslavement. That's actually a really good take. You're right. Black people were like one drop rule, please. Yeah. Historically, it was actually, unless you mean Dr. Yakub, in which case you are correct. Dr. Yakub is black, and he did invent white people who then invented technology. But outside of that, you're wrong. All right, let's continue.
They see this. How big of a blow is this?
I mean, actually, I'm fucking bored of this. But yeah, we covered it already. Yeah, DOJ.
Now to the
DOJ issued a statement. Let's get to the Epstein stuff. DOJ issued a statement defending Trump after the last batch of the Epstein files that were released. It was pretty fucking stupid. Also, there is the CNN article that I will be reading as well, obviously. Hassan Piker wants to stream less in 2026. Apparently, this was actually going viral on CNN's website. It was trending, which is pretty cool. Yeah, speaking of which, there's new updates on the DOJ website. The Department of Justice claims that over 1 million new documents have been uncovered as related to the Epstein case. This is only going to fuel more conspiracies. Yashar Ali, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and the FBI have informed the Department of Justice that they've uncovered over 1 million more documents potentially related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The DOJ has received these documents from SDNY and the FBI to review them for release in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, existing statutes, and judicial orders. We have lawyers working around the clock to review and make the legally required redactions to protect the victims. As we all know, these guys are very good at the redactions. I mean, famously, for like the past week, we haven't been talking about how insane the haphazard nature of redactions have looked, whether it be the ridiculous heavy hand that they applied on the redactions to protect co-conspirators, Donald Trump, claiming that these guys are simply victims, or whether it be the really bad ways that they engage in this redaction that is easy to overcome with a simple copy paste. In any case, once again, banger after banger, folks. We got the best and brightest working round the clock, and it's very clear that we got the best and brightest working round the clock. Certainly, you couldn't have had a better administration, a more competent administration handling this stuff. Never forget, this administration will only fail because they are truly incompetent, okay? They will not fail because they will be forced by the Democrats they will not concede to the Democrats after the Democrats do like a major push or whatever. But what Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie have shown is that even a little bit of pushing on one hyper narrow issue can lead to complete devastation, okay? Because this is one thing. Trump does a million different awful things. Trump has ruined so many different parts of the regulatory agencies, for example. So when you have any interest at all in genuinely pushing this administration and leaning into the popular sentiment, all of a sudden the house of cards explode. Okay, the dominoes fall partially because of the ineptitude of the admin. Okay, we have lawyers working around the clock to review and make the legally required redactions. Due to mass volume of material, this process may take a few more weeks. The department will continue to fully comply with the federal law and President Trump's direction to release the files. Why the hell aren't the Dems interested in pushing on anything he's done? I think they just don't want to win. I think they're terrified. I don't know. They're terrified of having any power whatsoever. I think the Democrats are genuinely scared, or at least they're operating like they're genuinely scared of what may come next if they actually win Congress. Okay? I'm so fucking annoyed with this camera today. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, they're worried. They're worried about what might happen if they actually end up accidentally winning power in Congress.
New fallout this morning from the latest release of the Epstein files. The Department of Justice has issued a statement defending President Trump, whose name is mentioned in some documents. Our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, is near Mar-a-Lago, where the president is spending the holiday week. Selena, good morning.
And Whit, good morning to you. Lawmakers and some Epstein survivors are furious at the Justice Department for missing the deadline to release these files and for heavy redactions. And now these new documents are raising serious questions about why Jeffrey Epstein wasn't stopped years earlier.
This morning, the Justice Department coming to the defense of President Trump after a new trove of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were released, some mentioning Trump by name. The department says some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. Trump has long denied any wrongdoing, and the DOJ has not specified which claims they believe are untrue. Trump has said he He and Epstein were friends decades ago, though they eventually had a falling out. One released document shows a federal prosecutor in 2020 saying Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet a total of 8 times in the mid-1990s. Now the files are renewing focus on others in Epstein's orbit. Records show prosecutors repeatedly tried to interview Andrew Mountbatten, formerly known as Prince Andrew, seen here in a newly released photo with Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell and others who are unidentified. Virginia Giuffre long claimed Epstein trafficked her for sex with Andrew 3 times in 2001 when she was a teenager, which Andrew denies.
He knows exactly what he's done.
And newly released emails from that same year show a message to Maxwell from someone going by the letter A, saying they're writing from Scotland's Balmoral Castle, calling it summer camp for the royal family, and asking, "Have you found me some new inappropriate friends?" Maxwell writing back, "So sorry to disappoint you. I have only been able to find appropriate friends." This Town of Palm Beach police report shows authorities looked into Maxwell in 2001 for allegedly recruiting college students to work for Epstein, saying at least 2 girls complained about Epstein touching them inappropriately. Now some Epstein survivors are furious at what they say are multiple law enforcement failures and asking why Epstein wasn't stopped sooner, despite some girls coming forward 25 years ago.
We have been through so much at this point. And we are just tired of asking for just one simple thing. It is really simple. It's stop protecting these powerful men and protect the survivors.
And what we're seeing is only a fraction of the Epstein files. Sources tell us the Justice Department could have upwards of 1 million pages. So far, only 100,000 have been released to the public.
Yeah, so many more documents to come in the future. And Selena, there's also news this morning from the Supreme Court blocking the National Guard from going to Chicago.
Yeah, and this is a major setback for the Trump administration, and with it could impact the president's ability to deploy the National Guard to other states. So the Supreme Court in this ruling is refusing to allow the president to send the National Guard troops to the Chicago area. Illinois Governor
My mom is watching this and thinks you're an alcoholic because you're drinking out of that black bottle in the morning. I told her it's cold brew, but she doesn't believe me. Is organic cold brew concentrate. Also, if I was fucking downing an entire, basically a handle of whatever kind of alcoholic beverage it is, you could tell, you know, I would be hammered by the time it got around to like 12 or 1. I'd be so hammered. No, I'm not drinking straight concentrate. I'm actually diluting it with water, obviously.
is calling this a win for democracy, but the White House is saying that nothing in this ruling detracts from the president's goal of protecting law enforcement officers and of enforcing immigration laws.
And Selena, one more thing we want to ask you about. The administration has a new warning for those not repaying their student loans.
Yeah, Janae, and this could impact.
Oh yeah, get excited for the student loan debt havers. The Trump administration said, "Merry Christmas. We're coming after your wages," which is cool. Another Merry Christmas moment for the record.
Millions of student loan borrowers who are in default. So starting in January, some of them can see their wages garnished. That means payments taken directly out of their paychecks. But the Education Department says this won't start until they've received sufficient notice and opportunity to pay back those loans. So some warning out there is to do that quickly.
As long as you're enrolled as a part-time student, you don't need to pay. Temporary fix was something. Did you see any news coverage on the flooded states or do anything on it by chance? Brother, I'm in one of the flooded states currently. I did cover it a little bit this morning, but no, I didn't. If you're asking me about Washington, I did not. Yeah. We could have had it all, man. Brandon could have nuked the student loan debt Trump style. You know? Imagine Brandon behaving like Trump was right now. Trump is right now, but back then, but in the direction of like the abolition of student loan debt. Oh my God.
And to do that fast.
And hopefully people are paying attention and listening. Selena, thank you so much.
Donald Trump is new ties to Trump and Andrew. I know the British are consistently pummeling the former Prince Andrew angle here, but I think is really funny because no one really cares. Everyone already established that Prince Andrew is a pedophile. I mean, even the royal family established that Prince Andrew is a pedophile. You know, they took his princehood away. Like, what do you mean? At this point, he's no longer even a prince. Like, what more? I mean, he should go to prison, obviously, but like, yeah, he's just Andrew now. Also, there's updates. There's updates on the Barry Weiss saga. I'm gonna cover that a little bit as well. As you guys know, Barry Weiss nuked the CCOT. Barry Weiss nuked the CCOT story coming from 60 Minutes for basically no real reason other than openly stating her desire and openly stating that CBS News is no longer going to do any sort of serious coverage on the administration. And while she was in the process of nuking the story, she basically offered it a lot more daylight, even though it probably still would have been more impactful if they just released it, because 60 Minutes covering it is obviously going to be a little bit different than, you know, all of the previous coverage that's come out of it. So in that way, I guess she Streisanded it, but she also got all the normie boomers to not watch this news coverage, because like the normie boomers that go on and watch 60 Minutes, they're not gonna investigate this further, right? So she Streisanded it for, I guess, I don't know, a lot of people who were invested in it, but that wasn't enough. Now she's sending an email out talking about building trust. Barry Weiss to CBS staff is a new email that leaked because everybody hates her. As you recall, I talked about this already, but you know, I don't know, man. My mom's a normie boomer and she searched it up. Libdo, yeah. I've explained this already with poetic language, as a matter of fact. Every job in the United States of America requires you to climb Dick Suck Mountain. Okay, you just got to sit there and you just got to put in the work, right? You got to sit there and you got to put in the work. Except for Barry Weiss, she failed upwards, and she failed upwards quite fast. And therefore, because she failed upwards and failed upwards quite fast, she pissed off a lot of people. She pissed off a lot of people in the media. And people in the media love to gossip. Okay? I can't find I can't find the video that I don't know where it is. Oh, here. This is pretty funny. Here, this is one of them. Everybody hates her. Like, why wouldn't you hate her? If you are a lifelong career reporter, journalist, editor, producer, whatever, okay, and you've sucked a mountain of dicks, okay, every day is a climb on Dick Mountain, and you're sucking it, okay, and then Barry Weiss, who objectively sucked less dicks, but the right kind of dicks, gets one on you, and now she's commanding the entire franchise. You're like, what do you mean? I've been climbing Dick Suck Mountain every goddamn day. You mean to tell me that you could helicopter your way to the top because you sucked one cock? That's bullshit. And then also, obviously, there's people that are doing good work as well. Say metaphorical dicks just to be safe. Yeah, of course, I'm talking about not real dick. That's it. Bro, there had to be a better analogy. No, I stand on this. I think this was a pretty solid analogy. Like, anyone who's worked a real job knows you just got to fucking play ball. It sucks. It's not even like just ass kissing. It's everything. It's ass kissing and also simultaneously putting in the fucking work. Okay? Sometimes you just got to crack your knuckles, roll up your sleeves, and get to town on Dick Suck Mountain. Okay? That's it. That's what a job feels like to me. Okay? And the reality of the matter is, sometimes people don't actually put in the work. You know, they don't put their hair in a ponytail. They don't crack the knuckles. They just get elevated to the top. Okay? And when someone does that, all the other people look at that. Yes, I mean a real job. All the other people that are at varying different levels on, you know, Dick Suck Mountain, they're gonna look up and be like, "How the fuck you get there? You weren't with us. You were not here with us at the bottom. You were not here with us in the middle. Okay, you went straight to the top, and that creates a lot of resentment. And also, not only does it create a lot of resentment from others, but also you didn't even do any of the work. You didn't even do any of the necessary work. So now you're inexperienced sitting at the top. And that is the problem. Okay? That's the problem. Some examples of this, obviously, are Kash Patel as the director of the FBI, right? Donald Trump likes him, puts him in charge of the FBI. All of a sudden, FBI's falling apart. Dan Bongino, another great example. Alina Habba, another great example, as Attorney General. There are a million examples of this, as a matter of fact, with Donald Trump and the Donald Trump reign. When you put the biggest brown nosers and the highest, when you place an emphasis on loyalty over competence, you arrive at the current situation that we're in. So yeah, Barry Weiss sends out this email, says, "Hi all, right now the majority of Americans say they do not trust the press. It isn't because they're crazy. To win back their trust, we have to work hard. Sometimes that means doing more legwork. Sometimes it means telling unexpected stories." Now remember, the reason why all of this stuff gets leaked is because everybody hates her, okay? For good reason. Mostly, there's like jealousy as well, but most of the people hate her because they're like, you have never done any real journalism. Like, you've never worked in a newsroom. You did op-eds for the New York Times. You tried to get fired so you tried to get fired from the New York Times when you had this cushy op-ed job as the liberal adjacent conservative voice in the New York Times because they wanted to do ideological diversity for their dumbass readership, okay? And they wouldn't even fire you so you could kickstart your "I got fired from the New York Times for being right-wing" grift. So you basically fired yourself, because this is real. This is what happened with Barry Weiss. She was at the New York Times. She famously did that one piece on the intellectual dark web where she called Ben Shapiro a gladiator, an intellectual gladiator of the right. And she was so unlikable, and yet she could not get fired. The New York Times was like, "No, we love your stupid, liberal adjacent conservative commentary, right? We're a big fan of that. We love that shit. Have you seen the other op-ed people? Are you kidding me? This is our bread and butter." So she just could not get fired from the New York Times so she could start her grift. So instead she resigned and then basically said, "Do you mean New York Post?" "No, New York Times." Barry was at the New York Times. She resigned and turned around and said, "They were bullying me. There was bad workplace culture. I had to self-fire myself." And then she went to the same billionaires that she was already caping for. And those billionaires gave her unlimited funds to start the unaccredited university, Austin University, which, I've covered in the past, and also start the Free Press to peddle the exact same garbanzo that she was peddling at the New York Times on the op-ed side. Okay? And now, failure after failure, she has received seemingly the only kind of upward social mobility that exists in any industry. Okay? But that's precisely the reason why everybody around her, all of her colleagues, fucking hate her. There will be some who think, "Oh, well, if Barry Weiss can do it, I can do it as well," right? If Barry Weiss can reach the top by sucking up to billionaires, I can also do it as well. But for the most part, a lot of people get annoyed because they look at this and go, "You don't deserve this." They either look at this with jealousy and say, "You didn't put in the work at all. You're incompetent and you're unlikable and you don't deserve this." But then there's a lot of people who understandably get upset with her because she is incompetent. She is incompetent. She does not have the experience. She's never led a newsroom. Her experience in commanding a news team, in air quotes, is at the Free Press, and that wasn't a real newsroom at all. They didn't do any new reporting. They just pumped out the same Tablet magazine article about how Jews are being killed in the Upper West Side of New York City 1 million times over. Okay. And then every now and then they get really crazy with it and do Jerusalem Post style coverage on how, you know, the Gaza famine is actually a myth. That's it. That was her job. Talking about the campus wokes as first hysterical, silly folk, and then as the greatest threat to American democracy. That was her job. That was her position. And then every now and then talking about how like AI is great actually, and billionaires deserve more. I asked because I'm genuinely curious, not to be a facetious asshole, but what kind of jobs have you worked pre-content creation? My climb on Dick Suck Mountain started at advertisement sales, my friend, where you do it both literally and figuratively. Awful. Anyone who's ever worked in sales will tell you it's the fucking shittiest thing. And it rewards people who are sociopaths. It sucks. Anyway, to win back their trust, we have to work hard. Sometimes that means doing more legwork. Sometimes it means telling unexpected stories. Sometimes it means training our attention on topics that have been overlooked or misconstrued. And sometimes it means holding a piece about an important subject to make sure it's comprehensive and fair. I love that she's like now tripling down on why she nuked the CCOT piece. In our upside down moment, this may seem radical. Such editorial decisions can cause a firestorm, particularly on a slow news week. This was not a slow news week, lady. The fuck are you talking about? Slow news week? For who? The Epstein files were like a nuclear bomb that was set off. How is this a slow news week? And the standards for fairness we are holding ourselves to, particularly on contentious subjects, will surely feel controversial to those used to doing things one way. But to fulfill our mission, it's necessary. Now, what I find really funny about this stuff is I always ask myself, like, who is this for? Right? Because she knows this is going to leak. Right? She knows this email is going to leak. She knows everybody in the news team hates her. Right? For good reason. For the reasons that I just described. So who is this for? Like, when you try to make it seem as though the CCOP piece was not ready to go, when you claim that the CCOP piece is not ready to go, and it's actually a matter of journalistic integrity, when you have none, and everybody knows you have none, you're just going to piss off your news team further, because they were all in unison saying that the piece was actually airtight and totally ready to be delivered. So much so that they actually cut trailers off of it. So much so that they actually put it on international distribution. That's why it actually aired in Canada. It was very stupid of her to try and spike it at the last second, too. If she had maybe spiked it beforehand, if she had spiked it prior to the trailer being released and prior to this being okayed for international distribution, potentially it could have been avoided. But because she's also doubly incompetent, she waited till the very last moment until she figured out this is not a good idea. Let's spike it. In any case, continuously defending this as though it's like some sort of principled stance for true journalism is so stupid, especially because the people that worked on this piece, regardless of their ideological predispositions, regardless of how much they previously have done pro-Israel or pro-American State Department propaganda, are 1 million times better journalists than Bari Weiss is, because Bari Weiss is not a journalist. Do you understand? Like, those people, even if I disagree with what they do from time to time, are still doing investigative reporting, okay? You are not. Not only do you want biased reporting, not only do you want reporting that actually favors the Trump administration, but you don't even want to do the work. Like, at this point, I would say Project Veritas does a better job of at least presenting themselves as real investigative reporters than fucking Bari Weiss does. I despise Project Veritas. They do hatchet jobs. They lie. They cheat. They edit things deceptively. But at least they go out and put people on the field and try to fucking film them secretly and make make new news, right? Make original reporting happen. Even if it's very clearly filled with lies and unethical, they're still, at the very least, trying to make original reporting happen. Bari Weiss is not even doing that. She is commanding a ginormous news team, and she's not even invested in creating, investigative reporting in the direction of the Trump administration that suits their propagandistic purpose. It's triply incompetent in that regard. It's pretty funny. No amount of outrage, whether from activist organizations or the White House, will derail us. We are not out to score points with one side of the political spectrum or win followers on social media. We are out to inform the American public and get the story right. Restoring the integrity of the news is a difficult task. We can't think of a more important one. Merry Christmas and thank you, especially to everyone who's working over this holiday. Yours, Barry, Tom, Charles, Adam. Of course, Charles Gasparino, one of the, Fox Business guys, who I guess this kind of message is specifically tailored for, says, I know Barry Weiss is getting a lot of heat for the pulled 60 Minutes piece, but if this comes down to the show not airing White House comments, her attackers are going to look very dumb in short order. That's reporting 101, even if the comments are spin. You have to run them in any piece of this kind. Now, what's really stupid about this is, of course, 60 Minutes reached out to the fucking White House. They did. And the White House said, no. The White House didn't respond for comments. Like, what are we doing? So going forward, it's just an automatic veto. Anytime the White House does not respond, it's an automatic veto on a piece? Is that how journalism is supposed to be conducted? Are you fucking crazy? Anyway, this one is for the journalism nerds in the chat, and I know there's plenty of people in this chat that do care about this stuff. I don't think like the average person cares about this, but ironically enough, Barry Weiss's actions is exactly in line with why people despise the media. Okay? It's this kind of attitude. It's this kind of propaganda that makes people not trust the media. Okay? You can try to spike a CCOT story by claiming, oh, well, the administration didn't actually did not respond to our request for comment. So I guess we have to, we have to take a step back and never really release any investigative reporting unless they actually reach out. That's exactly the type of shit that people get pissed off about. Okay? You cannot apply this standard as long as your reporters are reaching out to principals for comment. They're doing their due diligence, especially if they wait for an extended period of time. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This would mean that every single piece of news that comes out of CBS News going forward will either require the government's perspective, which again turns this into State Department propaganda or just regime propaganda, basically, or you just get an auto veto. And for the record, the White House did respond. As 60 Minutes finalized its Inside CCOT report last Thursday, CBS sent the White House a request for comment. A White House spokesperson responded within a few hours. The quote was not included in the 60 report, so judge for yourself whether it should have been included. The White House spokesperson, Abigail Jackson, said 60 Minutes should spend their time and energy amplifying the stories of angel parents whose innocent American children have tragically been murdered by vicious illegal aliens that President Trump are removing from the country. That's not a comment on the story. That's a misdirection. You are under no obligation to report that in the news piece that is supposed to feature the conditions of American migrants that legally came into the United States of America, or even undocumented migrants that came into the United States of America that were sent to CCOT without due process for no fucking reason, where they actually experienced rape and other torturous conditions. Eerily similar to the events that led to 60 Minutes facing conflicts of interest and a merger, spiking the biggest public health whistleblower story of the era, and producer Lowell Bergman quitting, depicted here in The Insider. Here.
And what are you implying?
I'm not implying, I'm quoting. More vested interests. Persons who will profit from this merger. Ms. Helen Capel.
Lowell.
What?
I'm with Dawn on this.
I mean, if we have a functional entertainment industry and a functional Hollywood 20 years down the line, maybe they'll do a story on Barry Weiss as well in a similar fashion. The Insider is a 1999 American biographical drama directed by Michael Mann and written by Mann and Eric Roth, based on Mary Brenner's 1996 Vanity Fair article, The Man Who Knew Too Much, a fictionalized account of a true story. It centers on the controversial 60-minute segment about Jeffrey Wigand, a whistleblower in the tobacco industry, covering his and his CBS producer Lowell Bergman's struggles as they defend his testimony against efforts to discredit and suppress it by CBS and Wigand's former employer. There it is. That's what this snippet is from. 1999 movie, Lessons Have Not Been Learned? No, of course not. Also, here was, Steve Miller basically going on television and giving the game away. Miller, this is what Steve Miller was asked what his opinion was about the 60 Minutes saga with Barry Weiss, and this is what he said.
And every one of those producers at 60 Minutes engaged in this revolt, fire them. Clean house, fire them. That's what I say, Charlie. And yet, everyone.
Nice, man. Oh, they're not doing regime propaganda? Oh, they're not doing regime propaganda? Fucking fire him. It's that simple. God damn, he's such a goddamn weasel, dude. He is such a weasel. I hate this son of a bitch so much. You and the Majority Report both brought up the Insider this week. I mean, it's a direct one-to-one. It's from the same exact... It is from the same exact news segment. 60 Minutes has been around for a very long time. Okay? And it is supposed to be like premier investigative reporting. It obviously still very much plays the role of State Department propaganda. 60 Minutes at its peak was still obviously working with, with Mossad, or they did that famous piece on how Mossad had pulled off the greatest act of terror, the beeper assassinations that killed children, right? The problem here in the way that Barry Weiss is moving is that if you want to do good propaganda, you still every now and then have to criticize the government so you have at least the veneer of credibility. This is a reality that experienced news broadcasters in places like the New York Times understand. If she had actually put in work at the New York Times instead of fucking dicking around, she would have recognized that. From the outsider, as an outsider, I can see this reality. This is a big part of my criticisms of the New York Times. Whenever New York Times will do like a good piece of investigative reporting, I always tell you, especially on especially on the plight of Palestinians or whatever, you guys go, what the fuck? Why are they doing this? And I tell you all the time, it's because there is a push and pull here. If they just go all push, no pull, people are eventually going to say, oh, I know what's going on here. They have to have a healthy balance, a healthy diet of real reporting every now and then. That's why they have investigative reporters. They have to maintain a level of credibility, because if they lose all credibility, then they no longer can do propaganda. Okay? If you lose all credibility, then no one believes you in moments of impact, in moments where you have to get people to believe you. There needs to be a veneer of credibility associated with these places so they can do propaganda better. Barry Weiss is just tanking the reputation of CBS slowly but surely by very openly just doing push and no pull. Now, of course, in this current media environment, maybe just simply being biased in the direction of the administration will benefit you in the long run. Who knows? I mean, after all, Fox News is the most successful, most popular news broadcast in this country. So who knows? Maybe it does work in the long run. But the impact of this will be even more damaging. Ali Abunima says, Barry Weiss censoring a 60 Minutes piece critical of Trump and its leak when Al Jazeera pulled the Lobby USA after Israel lobby pressure on Qatar and Intifada leaked it, not a single mainstream outlet reported it. Wonder why? This is also correct. There's always a bigger dog in the room. You feel me? Israel is the big dog in the room. Fox News people aren't moving the CBS Hassan. No, I agree, but you never know if they fully turn CBS News into just Fox slop, regime slop, MAGA slop, maybe they'll actually start winning people over. CNN certainly is trying to do that, right? Many other news outlets are trying to do that right now. They realize that the only people that watch television still in this day and age are fucking boomers and the lead poison generation, Gen Xers, but mostly just boomers. And boomers want that. Boomers want that slop. Hogs want the shit. They want to consume the slop. They want to consume the shit. Maybe that's the reason why these guys are also doing it. I don't think so. I think in the interim, the damage will be so devastating for the liberal-minded boomers that the right-wing grift will impact CBS very negatively. Not in a way that is dissimilar to how the right-wing impact damaged MSNBC, now known as MS Now. When they tried to pivot to the right, MSNBC, when they were supposed to be the liberal equivalent to Fox News, a lot of people stopped tuning in. CBS is still supposed to have a level of, like, if that's your brand, right, you're supposed to have a level of credibility. Okay? Now, let me explain it to you. What I mean by this is if you look at news broadcasters as, like, I don't know, fast food. If In-N-Out tomorrow decided to fucking serve shawarma, people would be like, I don't know about this. You know, it would take time for people to go to In-N-Out for shawarma. And if it was a costly endeavor, they would probably lose, you know? If you're known for serving hamburgers, you got to keep serving hamburgers. You can't just like all of a sudden go, oh, we're doing animal style shawarma now at In-N-Out. And you certainly can't stop serving hamburgers in the process. Barry Weiss is coming in and saying, In-N-Out, I'm now in control of it. We're doing shawarma only. Okay, well then no one's going to come to In-N-Out for shawarma. No one knows In-N-Out for shawarma. There are a million other places where you can get shawarma that's better than In-N-Out. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, Epstein files, new ties to Trump and Andrew. But aside from that, yeah, we got the Zelensky stuff too. And the year-end recaps are coming out as well. Talking about, you know, where we're at this year, what has happened this year. I'm obviously going to be talking about that stuff as well as the end of the year nears. But before I do that, Hassan Piker wants to stream less in 2026. Did you ever do your Twitch recap? No, I did not. Every day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time, Hassan Piker is live on Twitch. Another 20K down the line. What I do is basically AM radio, but for Zoomers, he has said. The 34-year-old streamer Hasanabi, to his 3 million followers, flips between a dizzying number of tabs, offering political commentary on the day's news to an audience of mostly young men. When he's not sounding off on the culture or offering dating advice, he's tearing at the right-wing figures or the policy of the Trump administration. He's also 6'4" and jacked in an era when the political right is fixated on hyper-masculine attributes. This year, these credentials made Piker a subject of political and media fascination. Democratic operatives reportedly courted him. Journalists covered him at length. Strategists and pundits looked to him to understand how liberals might win over young men, a demographic that broke sharply for the GOP in 2024, which some attributed to bro podcasters and streamers like Joe Rogan palling around with Trump. As Democrats set out to find a Joe Rogan of the left, Piker, with his cutting jawline, serious protein intake, and empathy for immigrants and trans people, came up again and again. But Piker is no Joe Rogan, and he's no standard issue Democrat either. He's an avowed socialist, an anti-imperialist, and one of the loudest critics of the Israeli government's bombardment in Gaza. He isn't even a typical bro. He's been known to rock a string of pearls or nail polish on occasion and confidently donned a maid outfit and cat ears for a video earlier this year. And Piker is still a polarizing figure. His staunchly leftist views and the brash and off-the-cuff manner in which he expresses them have spurred more mainstream establishment liberals to distance himself from him. And he's made inflammatory comments that have gotten him suspended from Twitch several times. Still, since the 2024 election, his following has steadily climbed, and he's now one of the most influential voices on the left. 1 year into Trump's second term, young men, podcast bros included, seem to be turning on the president. As Democrats look to strengthen their standing with young voters in the next year's midterms, Piker's Twitch stream might be a strategic campaign stop. Just know he hopes to stream less in 2026. And then they asked me a bunch of questions, short questions, short answers. What was the most memorable moment from this year? For me, the ICE protests in America, when ICE started turning violent on me and fellow Americans across the country. I still think that was a turning point for a lot of people, because that was the first time, especially after Chris Van Hollen demanded the extraction or proof of life for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That was the first time Trump took a major dent in his anti-immigrant agenda. that policy became less favorable from that point on. So that was, I think, why do you keep doing that? Most right wingers don't even care about working out that much and dating advice. Am I missing any streaker streams? No, it's Chad Vice. Which of your dreams came true? There's a 34-year-old socialist mayor who ran on affordability and defeated all odds. What do you already regret? Not taking more time off this year and not doing less politics next year. What vices are you giving up on or carrying with you into the next year? My crippling nicotine and caffeine addiction will be carried into the next year. Look, brutal honesty. Who do you think made the biggest splash this year, if not yourself? Zoran Mamdani. How did you survive the hard parts? I have an incredible community, and I'm very stubborn and very mission-focused, and I have a positive vision for the future I'm working towards, so no matter what happens, I can put my head down and keep pushing forward. What's the biggest existential threat to human life? AI, disinformation, and hatred. These three things combined make an incredibly dangerous combination. What, if anything, is giving you hope about the year ahead? I think people are very fed up with the lack of change from either major party, and I think it's causing them to look for alternatives, and it's leading them in the direction of a socialist alternative. Who's someone we should be paying attention to next year? Dr. Abdul El Sayed. What's a goal? You say climate change? Brother, AI also is further accelerating ecological collapse. Hassan has changed up so much, he isn't even saying climate change, shaking my head. Jesus Christ. What's the goal you're setting up next for yourself? Setting for yourself next year? Stream less, enjoy life more, and spend more time with friends and family. Favorite movie of the year? One battle after another. Favorite music of the year? SD Kid. Nobody's shocked to see this. Hassan is a genius with language and English idioms, and he has the hive mind thing down almost perfectly. Even AGI could learn from him. A lot of very, very upset, real CNN watchers and readers in the chat. Hassan is a contributing factor to Trump winning the election. These aren't normal CNN commentary folk. Let's be real, okay? These are the last gasp of Redditors who still under every article or under every mention go, but remember when Hassan was talking about Israel and was very negative about Israel? Let me try to paint him in a bad light because he was very mean to Israel, not realizing that that doesn't present me in a bad light at all. No matter what you can say, no matter what you say over and over again, no matter how much you rant, you are falling down the Andrew Cuomo. You are falling down the Andrew Cuomo trap. Okay? Do you not understand this? Well, I guess they don't. They don't. And most likely they never will. And they do it for free. I know, that's the saddest part, honestly. Science as a candle in the dark. Thank you for the 25 Get the subs. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your contributions, your voluntary contributions are the only way to support the show. The Piker Broadcasting Service. I heckin' love science. I do too. PBS is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. All to the way people will say, oh, wow, he pays so much money for PR. Like, okay, you think that even if I'm not, you're just telling me I'm doing a good job? Yeah. Are you really quitting? Wait, what? When did I say I was? Adrian is online. Thank you for the 25 Get the subs. And SPO6, thank you for the 10 Give the subs. Yeah, what a lot of these guys don't realize is every time they're like, well, you see, Hassan actually hates Israel. And then they slap on a whole bunch of bullshit about me hating Israel. And they greatly exaggerate my perspective or whatever. They don't understand that this doesn't have the impact that they think it has. Okay? Throwing bagels at a wall. Thank you for the 20 Give the subs. Do you see what I mean? Like, at this point, anyone who has ever criticized Israel has received a mountain of fucking backlash and lies and slander, tying them to anti-Semitism. So much so that, like, people who now, because now the fuck Israel position is the normal position, is the popular position. Your lying consensus opinion is that Israel sucks. No, that's what I mean. Because it's the consensus opinion, a lot of these guys don't realize that every single time they keep saying, oh, you're an anti-Semite, people don't actually go, oh shit, they're calling me an anti-Semite. I better think twice about criticizing Israel. No, they go, okay, I am an anti-Semite then. And people just don't understand it. Like, these guys who keep doing this don't understand it. And I think that's part of the reason why they now move on to different targets, like, oh, he's fucking killing his dog. He is a dog terrorist or whatever. But like that kind of stuff is never going to reach to the same level of salience as this like broad, you know, political subject matter that I'm covering. I'm a political commentator, right? So all they have at their disposal is Islamophobia. Lamau, even Israeli scholars at the Academy of Jewish Studies in DC were shit talked by audience members when they presented research that was disfavorable to Israel. Yeah, exactly. When you're running around calling Miss Rachel an anti-Semite, like you've completely lost the plot. People are not going to even people don't give a shit even when you call me an anti-Semite, and I am much more radical and much more open about my perspective, especially in analyzing and also in certain instances defending the existence of resistance groups, militant resistance groups, right? Speaking of defending the existence of militant resistance groups, I do have to bring up James Cameron, okay, who is my GOAT. Obviously, there's a new avatar that just came out, and I have to promote a little, I have to promote my favorite white boy with motion to the best of my ability here, okay? My favorite white boy with motion, James Cameron, says Palestinian struggle is righteous. In a recent interview, renowned filmmaker James Cameron, director of the Avatar franchise, described the Palestinian plight as existential. Speaking on the portrayal of war in his latest film, Avatar: Fire and Ash, Cameron drew parallels between fictional narratives and real-world crises. The comments were made during a director debrief interview with journalist Brandon Davis, released shortly after the film's premiere on December 19th. In the interview, Cameron stated, "It's a fine line. Killing only leads to more killing, an endless expanding spiral. That's what we've seen. We've seen it in Gaza. We've seen it in Sudan. We've seen it in Ukraine." He continued, "There are some fights that are righteous, and total annihilation is a reason to fight. It's existential. This is different than the way people actually perceive Palestinians as perfect victims. I need you to understand the significance of a statement such as this one, okay? Saying that the Palestinian struggle is righteous is basically the most like palatable way of openly stating that, you know, you kind of understand why Hamas is doing the things it's doing, okay? For a guy with such a high profile, especially in an industry like Hollywood, to be able to come out and say stuff like this is a major tide shift, okay? Cameron remarks align with the narrative of Avatar: Fire and Ash, where indigenous Na'vi characters confront human colonizers. The film, the third installment in the saga, delves into grief, loss, and redemption, mirroring what Cameron described as humanity's grief, greed, and willful destruction. Let's be real. That statement, especially coming from a guy like James Cameron, that statement coming from someone like me, obviously puts me in a mountain of fucking trouble. And for the past 2 years, people have been consistently saying I'm a dangerous anti-Semite, anti-Semitic terrorist over and over again. But when it's coming from James Cameron, that means that the tide has shifted so much. The tide has shifted so much that it's no longer just about Palestinians being seen as perfect victims, and that's the only time you can defend Palestinians. But instead, now you can also say you understand why some people are engaging in a righteous struggle against existential threats that seek to wipe them out. That is precisely what Israel is doing, okay? And it is perfectly understandable that there would be resistance against it. Here's the video of the quote. Let's watch it. I mean,
capture all-out war in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Good guys are killing bad guys. They're each killing each other. They're each killing each other's animals and creatures. And yet I feel like when we see the sort of suffering, we only see the pain, mostly see the pain inflicted on the good guys.
One of the things that I also saw that people were criticizing, which reminded me of there was all those like fucking right-wing edgy boys that also lose their shit about Israel but are like otherwise neo-Nazis. What is it, like the anime account Daka or whatever was complaining that Ukrainians were using drones on horseback cavalry that the Russians were utilizing in Ukraine. And they were like, these guys killed horses. How dare they kill horses? Ukraine deserves to lose. And it's like, motherfucker, what do you mean? Like, they're the ones using the horses. They're the ones invading Ukraine. Like, I'm not pro-NATO by any means, but what the fuck do you expect the guys to do? What do you expect the people defending their fucking territory to do? Just not, oh no, you're using a horse? I guess I can't blow it up then. Like, oh, don't touch the horses. What the fuck? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I saw someone being like, yeah, if Russians actually had child conscripts, these guys would fucking yell at them for you know, fighting against minors or something. Instead of getting mad at the Russians for potentially using child conscripts in this hypothetical, you know? Yes, I am a horse girl, but as a horse girl, get mad at the appropriate place here. Get mad at the fucking people using the horses on the battlefield rather than get mad at the people using the horse on the battlefield rather than the people who are, you know, defending their fucking homeland. Anyway.
If you're trying to make sure we don't empathize with the bad guys, can you talk about how fighting for what's right and walking that line requires that sort of portrayal?
It's a fine line,
yeah,
right? Because we go into Tulkun culture and they say, you know, killing only leads to more killing, an endless expanding spiral, right? And that's the world we live in right now. That's what we've seen. We've seen it in Gaza. We've seen it in Sudan. We've seen it in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're doing an action movie. People are going to fight, right? But are you fighting for a just cause? Are you fighting for what you believe in? Are you fighting from a place of hatred or revenge? There are some fights that are righteous, and total annihilation is a reason to fight.
James Cameron's so close. James Cameron's so close to, like, I mean, he still lived up in this analysis because, like, no one is really fighting for revenge in this situation, right? Like, most people are fighting. The conquerors are fighting for a territorial expansion, for extraction of natural resources, or the enslavement of a people, right? Which is then commodified, then turned into another commodity, right? And then the people who are fighting back against that are usually fighting for survival. All the sectarian stuff, or all the ethnic tensions, all the religious tensions, all of that is basically just a galvanizing factor. But the main motivator is always about theft. It's always about stealing resources. It's always about acquiring more territory so that you can improve your economy.
It's existential.
You capture all-out war in this movie.
But I guess he's talking about the bad guys in his movie. But even then, the bad guys in the movie are there to, once again, they're not there to just simply enact revenge. They're there to extract resources. That's their goal. But in any case, like I said, big respect. The last time I heard someone so openly state, like a major player, so openly state the intentionality of their famous work was George Lucas, where George Lucas openly stated that the good guys were the Viet Cong and the bad guys, the Empire, was the United States of America. So, you know, very cool that James Cameron is still firmly in the halls of the greats. I'm not just saying that because I just watched Terminator 2 recently, after many, many years of not seeing it, where once again, he very deliberately made the villains the police, if you recall. And there is a specific reason for it. He says it himself. When asked why T-1000 was a cop, he says, the Terminator films are not really about the human race getting killed off by future machines. They're about us losing touch with our own humanity and becoming machines, which allows us to kill and brutalize each other. Cops think of all non-cops as less than they are, stupid, weak, and evil. They dehumanize the people they are sworn to protect and desensitize themselves in order to do that job. Good Hollywood used to be good, and now it's all pro-Empire garbage. No, Hollywood has always had a fucking pro-Empire garbanzo attitude. There's just some who cut through that noise a little bit, okay? And those people are oftentimes creating works that have salience, works that are remembered forever. And I just wish that other people would recognize that, you know? My right-wing brother picked up on Kaige. He isn't in the online world at all. He told me, what's the big deal? It's his dog. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. None of these chirpers and bad actors online get it. Yeah, it's fine. The George Lucas clip James Cameron is talking about is trying to talk over to George and say that Star Wars is actually about the American Revolution. James Cameron has come a long way, and it's nice to see. No, I mean, he has his moments. He has his moments. He has his moments. He has those moments where he doesn't get it, and then he has moments where he does get it, right? Yeah, 1 million new files were uncovered in the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I know. Random, but what branded DHT blocker do you use? I need to up my hair game. Costco brand, I think finasteride and minoxidil. One is oral, one's topical. The finasteride is oral, the minoxidil is topical. If the majority of Jews in Israel and America supported Israel at the height of genocide and conflated Judaism and Zionism themselves, then why go so far as to combat the conflation? It kind of does the work of ethno-supremacists in Israel. No, serious question. No, I actually disagree. It quite literally, not combating that conflation actually serves the purpose of ethno-supremacists. That's why I don't do it. Doors open. Okay. Do you understand? Because no matter how many people actually lean into it, that conflation is still false. Okay? Like, this is what I mean. The notion of generalization, the notion of like monolithizing an entire group of people is just incorrect across the board. It's not something that I believe. Just as I don't believe that like every white person is automatically a white supremacist, I don't believe that every Jewish person is automatically a Jewish supremacist. And the reason why I'm using white and Jewish in this situation to describe this to you is because in Israel, an ethno-nationalist country, Jews are the white people in Israel. And obviously the Ashkenazi Jews in America are also considered white as well. I mean, in general, but shouldn't the focus be on the supremacy considering most Jews in Israel just don't care about the genocide? Yes, but it's not like I don't factor in the supremacist attitudes. I talk about Zionism being a fascist ideology all the time. You understand? If I wasn't doing that, then you would, I think, have a point. If I wasn't doing that, you'd have a point. But I don't shy away from saying that all the time. And I see it in the same exact vein as white supremacy in the United States of America, just as there are liberals or progressive people who fall into the trap of thinking that they're progressive, but then exhibit, white supremacist tendencies from time to time, racist tendencies from time to time. I see liberal Zionists in a similar vein as well. And if my goal is to try and change the perspective of liberals or even right-wingers and reactionaries away from white supremacist attitudes, why would I not do the same thing for liberal Zionists? This is a major difference in opinion that I have with a lot of others who consistently say, I am a servant of Israel. Now, there's not that many people who say stuff like that because it's utterly delusional to say something like that about a person who has been smeared as an anti-Semite over and over and over and over again by mainstream resources, as a matter of fact, with regular frequency, being called a fucking terrorist and whatnot, especially as a fairly visible Muslim socialist political commentator in the United States of America. But, I am applying the exact same principle. I'm applying the exact same principle that I apply in all of these issues, in all of these situations. You understand? Reminder that Larry David is a ball knower on Barry Weiss. I know, but as much as I love Larry David, he has at times disappointed me. And he's literally coming out with like a Barack Obama executive produced comedy show that's coming out with like Seinfeld on it and stuff. So I'm just telling you right now, everyone will inevitably disappoint you, okay? And I think Larry David is gonna disappoint me this year. That's a lock for 2026, but I hope not.
Come for Shabbos dinner one of these weekends. We had Barry Weiss last Friday night. She's fantastic.
Yeah, he is a bit libbed up, let's be real. Larry David's very funny, but he's a huge lib with not the best politics. I mean, yeah, he's like I think if James Cameron and Larry David had a conversation about like righteous militant resistance, I don't think Larry David would leave that conversation thinking about the humanity of Palestinians. I think he would leave that conversation potentially. Maybe I'm wrong. He hasn't really talked too much about this stuff at all, and I know his heart has been in the right place, at least historically. The Palestinian chicken episode is still goated, if not a little cringe. I don't think you guys have watched that in today's eyes. for the time being, it was a pretty bold episode. But if you look at it now, you'll see a both sides. It's definitely both sidesy. And it also places the emancipation and humanity of Palestinians on the virtues of how fuckable they are, which in and of itself is not great. But once again, it actually is pretty bold for the time being. So I think I'm pretty fair with my analysis on stuff like this. Also, Larry David did donate to, I think it was Kirsten Gillibrand, if I'm not mistaken, or Pete Buttigieg. So ever since I saw that, I was like, come on, man. Even Seinfeld has both sides shit. Watching it from now, oh, Seinfeld is, I mean, Jerry is awful. Jerry Seinfeld is the worst part of Seinfeld. Seinfeld was carried by Costanza, who is supposed to be the character portraying Larry David. Feel something. Thank you for the 10 give the subs. At least one thing I can say about Larry David is that I assume his silence over the last 2 years has probably been very fucking frustrating for a lot of pro-Israel people. You know? Like, I suspect they don't like that. I suspect that they fucking hate that our boy hasn't said shit. And that in and of itself is probably speaking volumes in this regard. Larry David almost never publicly mentions Israel, but I have this suspicion he quietly finds the whole country a little ridiculous and holds his tongue. That's also, this is suspicion, but I do agree with this. I do agree with this suspicion. Like, there are, especially in the age group that he's in, it's usually fairly unique to have a Jewish person who's at that age range that has like any serious enmity towards the state of Israel. I think the very fact that he wasn't like coming out of the gates swinging with like a pro-Israel stance post October 7 kind of implies that he was already off the train a little bit. But again, we just have no idea. Hot take, Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld are not funny in any way, shape, or form. And the people who find them funny are not fun at parties. Larry David is an incredible, incredible comedy writer. You are out of your fucking mind. You are out of your... Dude, come on, dude. Are you kidding me? Even Seinfeld is like... Seinfeld as a standalone work, was carried by Larry David, but still is, especially for the time... especially for its time, it was incredible. Curb Your Enthusiasm is incredible. Larry David is incredible. That's not... Larry David as a comedian, or as a comedy writer, is fantastic. You're like, what the fuck? I don't even understand who you would hail as a champion of comedy writing if Larry David is not even in the top 10 on that list. What the fuck? Who? I know speaking about comedy in a leftist community is always the dumbest thing to do, but jokes aren't fun, and anyone who enjoys jokes aren't fun at parties. My party's the Second International. Yeah. I hate that I'm old enough to agree. I mean, Nathan Fielder is great too, but Seinfeld, the show was so well written, it had to get Steve Bannon rich in return, deal with the devil. That's true. People don't remember this, but people probably don't know this, but Steve Bannon, when he was at Goldman Sachs, basically purchased all the Seinfeld library, like all the Seinfeld IP, and it amassed a fortune for him. Steve Bannon also at Goldman Sachs funded gold farmers in China, like power farmers and power levelers in China. Yeah. Fun facts. The more you know. What was the name of the fucking book? It's from The Devil's Bargain. I think is it The Devil's Bargain? Yeah, book by Joshua Green, Devil's Bargain, that details Steve Bannon, Donald Trump's a 27 book by Bloomberg Businessweek journalist Joshua Green about the partnership between Donald Trump and Steve Bannon that led to their 2016 political victory and the rise of the alt-right. You have to say in WoW. Yeah, gold farmers in WoW, in World of Warcraft. WoW gold, not real gold. Yeah, Steve Bannon, the fucking parasite that never goes away. Additional nugget about Larry David hating Barry Weiss. Wait, what? No, I already showed that on the show. Come for Shabbos dinner. One of these weekends, a Hulu executive tells Larry David's character after a meeting, "We have Barry Weiss last Friday night. She's fantastic." Larry slams the door without answering. This was art imitating life. The actor playing the executive, Elon Gold, has said he mentioned Miss Weiss in a fit of ad-libbing because they had indeed shared a Shabbat dinner. After asking how they met, according to Mr. Gold, Mr. David answered his own question accurately enough. Let me guess. It was at an event where they said, "We must save Israel." Oh my God. Okay, this is additional information that I did not know about, and I'm a fucking Larry Davis stan. Okay, that does make me very happy. That gives me a little bit more confidence about his actual perspective on this issue. Oh my God, that's fucking fire. The piece is where she gets directly mentioned is the one I just showed you. Let me guess. It was an event where they said, we must save Israel. I mean, I can see him. He's pretty secular. Brother, what are you talking about? Secular Judaism has basically taken on Zionism as a civic national religion. What the fuck? Being secular does not actually mean you're not pro-Israel at all in the United States of America. Most Jews in America are secular. That doesn't mean shit. Larry David, on the other hand, I can see Larry David genuinely hating Israel because of how annoying Zionists are. Like, I can see him straight up being like, at first I was on board with this stuff, but god damn, you guys are fucking so annoying all the fucking time. I can totally see him just leaving this cause at some point, being like, nope, I've had enough. I can't stand you motherfuckers. All it took was one meeting Rabbi Shmuley one time. Okay. He met Rabbi Shmuley one time and he was like, I am pro Hamas now. Actually, I've decided, glory to the martyrs. This is unacceptable. Larry David just wants to be left alone. Yeah. Larry David meets Rabbi Shmuley one time, instantly puts up a poster of Yahya Sinwar in his house, in his studio. He's like, nah, I'm out. I'm done. This is unacceptable completely. What the fuck? Do we really need an age of consent? Alan Dershowitz versus Rabbi Shmuley, hosted by Barry Weiss, only on CBS. Low-key, I would probably watch that. For the record, I would watch that, because that's anytime my goat Alan Dershowitz is on camera. He's such a telegenic presence. I have to tune in. Let's be real. That's peak. Also, that's not real, chatters. That's a meme. Just so you understand. Kyle, the absolute goat Kulinski, also known as Secular Talk, the most quirked up white boy to ever do it, has done a video on Asmongold. Asmongold turns on Trump, the Kyle Kulinski show.
Guys, so this is a shocker. I'm sure you guys remember I had done a couple videos. I don't remember how many, maybe 2 or 3 videos, something like that, on Asmongold. Every now and then he'll say something that's just blows my mind, and I'm forced to respond. Like when he said that casually genocidal shit about Palestinians. That's one example. I forget what the last one was, but I did a segment on it. Apparently he responded. Now, thankful for my mental health here, I don't actually watch people when they fucking decide to come after me. My theory is very simple, like, live and let live. Y'all want it? Hey, I have every right to attack you guys. You have every right to attack me back, by all means. Now,
love that. Great principles to stand on.
I do happen to know, because friends of mine covered it, that he's bigger than me. It's that simple. His show is maybe twice the size of mine. He's a giant streamer. He's certainly more popular than I am. So without a doubt, I grabbed a stick and I hit a fucking hornet's nest. And so I was told that he responded to my video, and then my original video got fucking brigaded going after him. This is the first thing I've seen of him since then.
The King of Darkwold Kyle, yeah, he goes maybe a little too dark at times. Let's be real. Make no mistake. He is the absolute goat at posting the most boomer memes, but because he posts boomer memes all the fucking time, there are definitely some instances where, he's maybe going a little above and beyond. Okay, let's be real. Like, there was some of the stuff that I saw that he was posting about, like the what do you call it? The fucking, all of the white supremacists on Twitter are actually Indian. All of those memes were, maybe a little heavy-handed. Now, I know Kyle. I've known Kyle for years. I do not think he is. People will say, "Oh, dude, he was like mocking Indians in those memes." I don't think he's like thinking too much about it. So it's more so like a blind spot. I don't think he is a racist person at all. I would go so far as to say he's anti-racist in general. And but you know, you can still have your moments, especially when you're a quirked up white boy. I mean, he's got the Eminem hair, you know? Come on. I will always respect Kyle though, because out of all of the people that what do you call it? Out of all the atheists, because he was one of them. I mean, his channel is literally called Secular Talk. When every single atheist was pivoting to anti-Obama, Islamophobia, maximum Islamophobia, Kyle Kulinski stayed true to his principles. Okay? 100%. And many of you are too young to know this. You don't remember that media environment. You did not grow up in that media environment, or maybe you were actually, right-wing in that media environment potentially, and you didn't pay too close attention to Kyle. But I grew up in that media environment. Let me tell you, okay? If you had an anti-imperialist slant in any way, shape, or form in that media landscape, okay, when there were no alternatives, it was just the Young Turks and then everyone else that was just like trying to fucking knife you in the neck. Okay, that, especially as a person who came from the background of because Kyle came from that background of secular, anti-theist, edgy atheist background. He was virtually the only person. That was out there being like, nah, this stuff is crazy. I think we need to be anti-war.
And it looks like he may already be having a change of heart and a change of mind. He may already.
Sam Cedar and Amy Goodman erasure. Yeah, no one is fucking calling into question Sam Cedar or Amy Goodman's track record chatters. That's the reason why I don't feel the need to even bring that up. Kyle shared an anti-Indian meme. What the fuck you promoting him for? The Chinese are Israel coded. They think anything against the CCP is against the Chinese people. Look at what they're doing. The Japanese media. China banned Japanese anime cosplay from the cosplay confession. China is so insecure. Okay, let's continue.
Be turning on Trump. And look, all I'll say is, we'll take it. We love to see it.
Well, we love to see it.
Anybody
who
was on that Trump train, anybody
I said it
who
was
was doing that right-wing propaganda,
it was unacceptable for sure. I don't think it came from a place of hatred, but it is still reinforcing the same dynamics in general. But it's coming from more so a blind spot and not like a place of open disdain, even though the intention doesn't really matter in that circumstance, especially if you don't know him. Kyle took Russian money? No. What the fuck? What? What are you saying? What is happening? No wonder everybody fucking hates people like myself in general. If you do any kind of political commentary, no matter how many fucking years you've been at it, there are a million different theories about and a million different fucking pieces of misinformation about every single fucking person. Oh my God, no wonder people believe whatever dumb shit that people believe about me too. Holy fuck. I mean, this is a person I know personally. I've known him for a decade plus, okay?
Propaganda, anybody who was feeding into that right-wing ecosystem online, which was so profitable for so long. I mean, the grift, you never see people grifting left. It's always to the right, because that's where the money is, that's where the popularity is, that's where the most passionate people online are, right?
No. The racist Indian meme wasn't misinformation. I understand why people are mad at him. No, I know. That's valid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fucking people who are saying he got money from Russia or some shit.
But it looks like the tides have shifted so fucking hard against Trump that even some of his strongest soldiers are now falling and are now going, I don't know about this Epstein stuff, bro. I do not know about this Epstein. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. So here we go. Here's Asmongold.
Isn't it time for Asmongold to stop sucking Trump's dick? I've been very critical of Trump regularly. If you look at any of my commentary discussing things that he's done, you'll see that I'm extremely critical of him, even more so recently since the Epstein stuff. So this is just, it's again, just the typical Reddit one-dimensional thinking, because you couldn't vote for Kamala Harris. If she was going to do something, she would have.
She was the vice president. And there were ongoing cases involving the Epstein files, so they couldn't release them even if they wanted to at that time. And she objectively would have been way better, but I digress.
Vote? Of course I didn't vote. Why would I vote if I don't feel like the can
Like, Kyle was also way more in the tank for Mamala than I was. Like, way more. Emma Jordy, Sam Cedar, Kyle, they were definitely maybe a little too libbed up by my estimations. I mean, I did not, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's a dem shill or anything like that. Because once again, you should allow people to have different perspectives. Sometimes even those different perspectives could be even heinous, okay? You have to literally understand human beings are complex. You have to look at most of their work. You have to look at their body of work. You have to look at their positions in general, what their first principles are, okay? Slander, Emma was a hater of Mamala. No, everybody here criticized Mamala, okay? Emma did, Sam did, I did, Kyle did. I'm just saying that they were definitely more. Majority Report was not in the tank for Mamala like that. That's insane. Stop spreading misinformation. Oh my God, I'm simply stating that they were definitely more sympathetic to Mamala than I was, okay?
that it represents my viewpoints and my values to a degree that I feel confident voting for them. And I think that I've been proven right. I have been. I think I've been proven right with that.
So here he is now going, yeah, he's fucking up and that Epstein file shit is kind of bad and like I'm kind of happy I didn't vote for him now, but here's his commentary from the past. Ready?
For this, yeah. I mean, if I had known he was going to do this, I would have voted for him. I would have, like, I 100%. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but if I did, I would say that I voted for this.
By the way, this was his reaction to the ICE Gestapo thugs rounding up innocent people and his reaction to Trump using the U.S. military to invade U.S. cities illegally, by the way. This was his reaction. Hyper-militarism going after liberals and lefties for disagreeing. This is his reaction.
I've been waiting for this to happen ever since BLM. This is what I voted for. Well, I'll tell you guys, how many of you guys that voted for Trump, you're getting even, it's even better than what you had hoped for. You know he wrote this. Yep, this is what I voted for. Yep.
So I believe this one, I remember this one. It's when Trump was bombing people in Yemen. And Asmongold was like, yeah, bro, this is what everybody voted for. This is amazing, bro.
He wrote this. Yep, this is what I voted for. Yep. To Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it. Hell will...
Once again, because there's no consensus reality, it kind of doesn't matter if you're just wrong all the time. As long as you are wrong directionally in favor of Donald Trump, and then as long as you can pivot when everybody starts hating on Donald Trump and you start slowly but surely pivoting in the direction of you know, hating on Donald Trump as well, like you'll be fine. There is no accountability at all. I love that people always use the term accountability though, whenever they're criticizing people that they just don't like on the internet. But there is no real accountability whatsoever. And there is no need or interest or investment in trying to establish consensus reality at all. And in the absence of consensus reality or even a need for it, you do kind of win favors by leaning into whatever the popular thing is.
Rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. What I voted for Trump to do was like what he did with the DEI stuff on day one. What I voted for him to do is what he did with, like, for example, Iran. You didn't vote? Yeah, exactly. But I would...
Like, for me, let's say I'm watching somebody, right? Let's say I'm watching Asmongold, and he's my primary source of news because he agrees with me. And Asmon has a day off, so I watch this. Habibi-san talk shit. No, don't ban that guy. Come on. Unban him. Like... When you got guys like you know, when there's someone who's like watching him, right, and consistently, and they're like, yeah, I agree, Trump is gonna fucking win massive favors by blowing up Yemen. He's gonna cause Yemen to actually back down and stand down. And then Trump literally comes out the next day and is like, actually, we were wrong. These guys are brave warriors. And we spent far too much money and we couldn't stop them at all from consistently intercepting ships. And we lost a bunch of planes in the process. So now they can still intercept ships going to Israel, but as long as they don't hit our ships, our Navy in the Red Sea, then that's fine. We won't bomb Sanaa any longer. Doesn't that cause someone who is a fan of not just Asmongold, but like anyone who promotes Trump like this to feel a little stupid? This is my question all the time. I guess like if you don't have any diversity in your media diet and you're like only getting information from one side, you just never you never get to see what the truth is, right? Yeah, they just ignore it like Baldur's Gate 3 and wokeness. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how it goes, right? Like there's no need to course correct at all. Why can't you all just converse with each other instead of reacting to clips and videos and speaking into an echo chamber where everyone agrees with you? I'm not saying this about you, but XQC and Asmongold too. Great question. First of all, XQC is not even a fucking political operative, so I don't know why you're bringing him up in this. I don't think he has a single interest in identifying political issues at all, even though he promoted Donald Trump. Asmongold is the one who refuses to talk to me, not the other way around. It's not. I have said over and over again that I'm perfectly comfortable talking to him. And every single time that we've had a conversation, I've been very charitable, very open-minded, and fairly reasonable. He's the one who doesn't want to do it. So you're climbing up the wrong tree. You're asking the wrong person. So much so that people actually say, I'm too charitable to Asmongold. I'm not aggressive enough or whatever. Yeah, Reddit is now clipping his normie reaction to the Epstein stuff, saying Pam Bondi should be arrested, and it's going viral. They're trying to whitewash him. Yeah. I think when your audience is somewhat devoid of like real politics and just invested in like ruthlessly going after what you perceive as woke or what your ideological enemies are or what your enemies are in the sphere of drama, I think then the audience will basically lean into whichever direction, especially if he manages it, especially if he manages the pivot, especially if he manages to pivot in the centrist direction or center right direction by turning around and being like, yeah, actually Trump should go to jail now because this Epstein stuff is crazy. You see what I mean? Reddit is basically bipolar when it comes to Asmongold. No, they're not. They actually like him quite a bit, I think, for the most part, because a lot of the anti-woke guys love him, and then the liberals actually don't really mind him because he is probably the biggest op for their number one enemy, people on the left, because he's a huge enemy of the liberals, and I would say Reddit is a very liberal platform. So I think they will align with him regularly because he just shits on the left a lot and shits on those targets a lot. Oh, fuck socialists, all this stuff. They're all terrorists.
Voted. If I would have voted, that would have been what I voted for. Did Trump earn your vote by now? If I could go back in time and vote for him, I absolutely would. I did not think that he was going to go this hard at all.
So a little bit different. The stuff before was, oh my God.
Bro, you're telling me the Podjons hate you more than Asmon? What? Are you insane? That's an entirely different part of the internet. Those are adults. Those are political operatives that worked with Barack Obama. We're talking about like people who look at politics in the least sincere ways possible. And politics not about like their analysis. Most people on the internet, their analysis of politics simply comes from whatever drama content that they're consuming. It's team sports. It's all vibes based. It's not the same standard that someone like the Podjons would fucking apply at all. And yes, a lot of people will say, oh, well, the Podjons are bad or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. They still have a worldview, an established worldview. You might not agree with them, and there's certainly a lot of disagreement from my end as well, but they do actually have they're a little bit more adult, don't you think, in their assessment, in their analysis, in their commentary than someone who is, constantly covering whatever kind of slop that comes down their Reddit timeline. Like how many, to be fair, you are both warriors of billionaire propaganda law. What do you mean? Like as in I'm fighting against billionaire propaganda and he's basically reinforcing billionaire propaganda? Is that what you mean? Like, what are the Podjohn's attitude about the Casey-tron lawsuit is not a question that you can ask and get a serious answer on. Okay?
He's amazing. Oh my God, he's great. Oh, I should have voted for this. Oh, this is incredible. And by the way, virtually every single thing he was referring to as a reason to vote for Trump is a reason that should horrify any normal American. Any normal American goes, really? Should we crack skulls of innocent people and send them to CCOT, to a concentration camp where they get raped and tortured with no due process whatsoever? Should they really blow off judges' decisions? Is that really a good idea? Should he invade U.S. cities with the U.S. military wildly, illegally? Should he do every one of those things? Should he illegally bomb Yemen? Should he really do that? Every one of those things when he was going, yeah. But the thing that actually made Asmongold go, I don't know about this guy anymore, it's the Epstein files. It is. So one more time, listen again.
Isn't it time for Asmongold to stop sucking Trump's dick? I've been very critical of Trump regularly. If you look at any of my commentary discussing things that he's done, you'll...
Yeah, no, it's base. Yeah, base. Wouldn't necessarily say that that's critical. Maybe critical levels of dick riding.
See that I'm extremely critical of him, even more so recently since the Epstein stuff. So this is just, it's again, just the typical Reddit, one-dimensional thinking, because, you couldn't vote for Kamala Harris. If she was going to do something, she would have. So, yeah, you didn't even vote? Of course I didn't vote. Why would I vote if I don't feel like the candidate represents my viewpoints and my values to a degree that I feel confident voting for them? And I think that I've been proven right. I have been. I think I've been proven right with that.
So let me just say, this is what happens when you're at 35% approval rating. This is what happens when you were all over those Epstein emails. There were 23,000 emails. Trump.
Like, if Donald Trump was also bringing about, like, great economic prosperity for his base right now, he would not be sitting at 35 approval. He would not be sitting at 35%. Okay? If at the very least there was something tangible to lean into for his base, they would be. They would be doing it nonstop. That's why it's always funny whenever Trump says, why are you guys talking about Epstein and not talking about how incredible my administration has been so far with the economy and things like that? And it's like, for example, they're right now posting dubs. They're currently posting fucking W's all over the timeline about how the GDP increase, the economy's actually on the up and up. It is the most Brandonized shit I've ever seen. And the reason why I'm saying that is because everybody knows the only economic movement that's taking place right now is basically NVIDIA and OpenAI and all these other fucking AI companies spreading the same like $100 billion around. Just exchanging hands over and over and over again. It's like 7 companies circle jerking, and no one is seeing the benefits of that, right? No one is seeing the benefits of that. Everyone is actually experiencing serious pain right now. So when these guys, when Trump dick riders come out and go, look, dude, it's fucking awesome, actually. Look, our economy is on the up and up. A lot of people who are not feeling that money getting spread around are going to go, excuse me, what the fuck do you mean? And there's also nothing to hold on to, like I said, for those guys, because there's no, like, the impact of, like, shitting on trans people or the impact of, like, deporting undocumented migrants and documented migrants. Like, that hasn't led to any serious, that hasn't been accompanied with, like, economic improvements in their day-to-day existence. And therefore, even they get soured on that shit where they go, okay, housing is still unaffordable. So the fuck do I care? Let's talk about DDR5 RAM increase, for example, for gamers to understand the economic impact. Yeah. All of these Republicans, if all of the mass deportations actually led to economic improvement for the average Republican, okay, they would be running around being like, Mr. President, you can fuck all the children you want. I promise you. Maybe not all the Republicans, but many of the Republicans would be like, I don't really care. I'm doing good. I'm doing good right now. My money is up. Americans are very selfish, right? Many of them would turn around and say, oh, dude, Mr. President, I'll give you my firstborn, actually, because guess what? The economy's doing so great. I'm able to purchase a home. They would find ways to deal with the Epstein stuff. They'd be like, oh, it's probably AI, you know? But because the economy is not good and only getting worse for the average person, they don't lean into the Democrat hoax narratives. It's kind of like what I explained with Candace Owens, right? Everybody that was cherishing her commentary because she was really fucking pushing it with the TPUSA stuff and feeding into conspiratorial thinking over and over again. All those people who celebrated her running ad breaks in between her commentary about how sad she was about Charlie Kirk's demise, untimely demise, will almost overnight flip on her when she's not giving them what they demand. The very same reasons, the very same things that you actually overlooked or found to be fine or even celebrated or cherished, right, will give you the ick. Think about it like being in a relationship, okay? Some relationships have a timeline. And by the time you get to the end of the relationship, things that you might have found quirky and cute about your partner might actually give you the ick. Okay? Little things start bothering you. Little things start annoying you. Honeymoon period is over. It's kind of like that. And then you can't stand your partner. It's the same principle with people who develop parasocial attitudes and parasocial sentiment for their favorite, cult leaders like Donald Trump or their favorite political commentators, whether it be Asmongold or Candace Owens, or even myself, can find themselves despising the very same things that they either overlooked or actually appreciated and celebrated. I know this from my own personal experience. There's plenty of people who at one point maybe defended on principle me purchasing a house for myself and my family, who might actually turn around and literally be like, actually, I thought that was bullshit. I was always suspicious. I always thought that meant you're not a real socialist. You know? It happens.
Trump was in about 1,600 of them. We learned that, for example, in 2011, he was at Epstein's house with a victim, quote, 4 hours. Okay? This is what happens when you illegally demolish the East Wing of the White House and then go to build went from $100 million to $200 million to $300 million to $400 million billionaire ballroom at the same time. Unemployment's going up and inflation's going up and people can't afford groceries. They're using Klarna to get groceries. This is what happens in that scenario. Yep. This is what happens when you cut off 92 million pounds of food aid that was going to go to food banks for the holidays, and now people are starving. This is what happens when you freeze 42 million, you kick 42 million off of the SNAP program, the food stamp program. This is what happens when 18 million lose their Medicaid, and health insurance premiums double, triple, quadruple, and in some cases more. Even the strongest soldiers no longer have a case to make for you. They don't have a case anymore. And by the way,
do you buy the theory that the ballroom is a data center? Wait, no, but that's pretty funny. I like that.
Look, I am super proud of Ro Khanna. I really am, because Ro Khanna has been leading on the Epstein files. I see him in reaction to this fake release of the files where only 1% of the files were released and they were heavily fucking redacted, and they're protecting Trump, and they accidentally released some stuff that had Trump's pictures. Then they pulled it back down to try to protect Trump. In the midst of all this, who's leading the way? Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna's out there. I've seen him on every single show talking about this, talking about we're going to go after Pam Bondi. We're going to impeach her. We're going to, hold her in contempt for not abiding by the law. And it's now at the point where Hassan Piker is, backing Ro Khanna on this. Asmongold was watching Hassan Piker talk to Ro Khanna, and Asmongold goes, I can see myself supporting this guy, Ro Khanna. So I saw the streamer XQC was saying he wants to get Ro Khanna on stream and he's a guy he could support. Asmongold saying the same thing. When you manage to unite me, Hassan, and Asmongold, man, that's some special shit. I don't know if there's anybody in the country that could do that. But because Ro Khanna is leading with conviction and integrity, and he's fighting for the truth, for Americans to know the truth about what happened with Epstein, he's creating strange bedfellows. It's that old saying, politics creates strange bedfellows. It sure as shit does. But by the way, Asmongold was, I don't know about Trump now. Here's what he was saying not that long ago. Ready?
We have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves.
The evidence, by the way, is like maliciously edited clips and things like that. Everybody who's part of the America First agenda should view being listed on this website as a qualification to run for office. If you get listed on this website as being an enemy of the goals of Israel,
isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, this is recent now. Yeah, he used to be a woke warrior. Bro, this is a bigger flip. This is the Osama bin Laden. This is the Osama bin Laden of flips, okay? Anti-socialist warrior paving the pathway to peace to guy who did 9/11. Okay? How the fuck did that happen? Going from every single day talking big shit. Wait, what is this?
You know, backing Ro Khanna on this. Asmongold was watching Hassan Piker talk to Ro Khanna, and Asmongold goes, I can see myself supporting this guy, Ro Khanna.
Yeah, no, you can't put a lot of emphasis into what he claims he's supporting and what he's not, okay? That's just, you know, that's all. He doesn't have real convictions. I don't think people care, though, to be fair. Like, I don't think his audience cares that much either. I think they just want a fair weather chud.
So I saw the streamer XQC was saying he wants to get Ro Khanna on stream and he's a guy he could support. Asmongold saying the same thing. When you manage to unite me, Hassan, and Asmongold, man, that's some special shit. I don't know if there's anybody in the country that could do that. But because Ro Khanna is leading with conviction and integrity, and he's fighting for the truth, for Americans to know the truth about what happened with Epstein, he's creating strange bedfellows. It's that old saying, politics creates strange bedfellows. It sure as shit does. But by the way, Asmongold was, I don't know about Trump now. Here's what he was saying not that long ago. Ready?
We have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves.
the evidence, by the way, is like maliciously edited clips and things like.
He wants to have Ro Khanna on his show to smear him? No, dude, it's clout. How do you guys not understand? Brother, please, you are fucking mistaking people's their output as people doing commentary as like people with real convictions. What the fuck are you talking about? There are political operatives out there who have real points of view. Not many of them, but there are those who have convictions. For Asmongold, this is not about conviction. This is about like seeing whichever way the wind blows and leaning into it as aggressively as possible. That's why from the start, I said, when the time comes and woke makes a full-blown comeback, you will see him completely back away from a lot of these positions that he's been championing. And all of his fans will forget about it. He'll develop new fans. One of the worst things you can do as a political commentary person is have real convictions. Okay? People who have real convictions will always be major ops because the entire sphere is guided by people who have no convictions. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'll give you one example from someone who was an op of mine. Ben Shapiro, grifter on everything, right? Except for one real conviction that he holds. Dick riding Israel into oblivion. Okay? Ben Shapiro is pro-Israel. He will never hide that. That is one of the things that he cares about the most, okay? He can go back and forth on Trump. He can do whatever he can say whatever. Bro loves moral high standing. Ben Shapiro is Israel first, okay? And because he is Israel first, I love the people saying Asmongold is pretty consistent in the chat, by the way. All the Roachman's fans are in here. I don't know if he's streaming today or not, but I suspect that we're getting a Roach infestation currently. Moral high standing? Yes, they don't. Just, it's okay. Okay? It's fine. Ben Shapiro has convictions when it comes to Israel. And now he's currently getting punished for it. He's getting eaten alive. For the longest time, it didn't matter because everyone else was also pro-Israel, right? So he could get away with it. He could get away with it. He could actually say Nick Fuentes is an outsider. He's not a real one. Ben Shapiro, I'm a part of the real, conservative movement, stuff like that. Reddit libs already fooled by Asmon's turnaround saying, we like people who actually admit they are wrong. Unlike Hassan, road supporters still think you are a terrorist. Is so weird. Brother, it is because these people do not have any fucking real understanding of politics. That's the whole point. 5 years from now, when they look back at this stuff, they will completely adopt every single thing that I have said from way before October 7, okay? And they will still hate me, okay? It doesn't matter. Just let it go. It doesn't matter. For them, politics is not about like identifying tangible goals and moving in that direction. It's just drama. And I don't even fault them for it, okay? I don't fault them for seeing it as drama. Do you want to know why I don't fault them for seeing it as drama? Because neither fucking major party in the United States of America is actually leading by policies that they care about, policies that they want to advance. If anything, it's usually the Republicans that have a discernible goal that they're trying to advance, even if that goal is fucking horrible for the average American, okay? Democrats are constantly on a defensive posture against the Republicans moving the country in the worst direction. That's it. So, of course, people who dive into the realm of politics will always drop policy and ideology and simply focus on whatever is fascinating about it. And what's fascinating about it in the realm of online is going to be drama. Drama anchored around not policies or goals or agendas, but drama that revolves around individual content creators. I don't like Hassan because he's a terrorist is a thought terminating cliche that people keep saying to themselves over and over again like a fucking mantra. Okay? Why are you always unhappy no matter what Trump says? Lol, that's a good thing. I'll start using it now. Clip out of context, Zach reacts. Taken out of context, you react. Get taken out of context, Zach reacts. Recycle and repeat. Misunderstanding/misinterpretations. Okay. There's only one side in this equation, for the record, that doesn't want to talk directly, and that is Asmongold, the person who you are a fan of. I'm sure you've heard him explain away exactly why. This is just my perspective from the outside. I don't dislike or don't like you. I do enjoy here, though. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's not like both sides are doing the wrong thing here. I mean, I've very clearly stated my position on this. I'll have a conversation with him anytime, any place. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm not going to fucking cast aside these people, by the way. I'm not going to say, fuck you, because that only hardens their position and feeds into the polarization, regardless of how silly their worldview may be. My point is, a lot of these people on the internet do not anchor themselves around a tangible goal, around a specific worldview. They simply anchor themselves around individuals and the drama that they find to be fascinating. And that's the only way that they think they can consume political content. Okay? That's it. And in that realm, whoever drives clicks in a negative manner will always be fucking obliterated. That is precisely the reason why so many of the slop tubers and the centrists and even some of the liberals have identified someone like myself as a major threat for the last 2 years, consistently calling me a terrorist. Even if they agree with my position on Israel now, back then they certainly didn't, because they don't really have real positions on Israel. They're simply leaning into what they think. They're simply leaning into what they think is the popular position. And for many in their audiences, they're just victims of propaganda. They're victims of misinformation. There's a steady flow of people saying, well, Israel might be doing something wrong, every now and then, but those people kind of deserve it. They're scary. They're Muslim. And if you hear that a million times over, of course you're going to agree with it. Why wouldn't you agree with it? If there's no one in the bubble that you are that you've created for yourself that has actually told you, if no one in your bubble has actually told you like, hey, this stuff is wrong, and the only time you hear someone who doesn't agree with you, you hear it in a completely out of context manner, in the most negative framing possible, you're never going to broach the other side's point of view. You're never going to want to seek it out. You're never going to entertain it, right? I get on negative tangents on stream too, and you are 100% on one right now. Chill out with a nice relaxing game of Block Zors. Wait, what? I'm not on a negative tangent at all. What? But that's it. If there is a steady flow of an endless sequence of negative framing on a political commentary person such as myself that is constantly feeding people's appetite, they're never going to actually turn around and see whether or not there is any truth to these claims, right? They're just going to go, yeah, this guy fucking sucks. I can't wait to see the next episode of why this guy fucking sucks. Yeah, you're really being negative about the current events in 2025. America, yeah.
That everybody who's part of the America First agenda should view being listed on this website as a qualification to run for office. If you get listed on this website as being an enemy of the goals of Israel, then you are actually America First. Like, you can't say this about Palestine, you can't say this about Israel, and somebody who's an activist for this is going to be criticized in this way. It's ridiculous. They try to dox, mislabel, defame, slander, and misrepresent anybody who goes against their interests, and then creating a chilling effect across the entire country to prevent negative discourse about a country. They only have the power that you let them have. And so if you see something like this happening, you can just simply get enough people together and then make it stop happening. But AIPAC pays them so much, you have to get a lot of people together. Yeah, it's by the way, that's going to happen. It's going in that direction, and they can't stop it. People don't want their country run by a foreign power. And I think that it's snowballing very, very, very fast.
So that was Asmongold now talking about, oh, this looks like Israel first. The Trump regime is putting Israel first. That's a huge problem. Here's what he was saying not that long ago.
Is removable under the Secretary of State Marco Rubio's assertion that his continued presence and his actions in the United States actually compromise a foreign policy.
Bro, Asman got that line straight from you? Yeah. In the past, the very same commentary that I made that he considered to be terrorist commentary, pro-terrorism commentary, and anti-Semitic commentary that is worthy of deplatforming, he now has adopted. And he's gone even beyond. He actually does talk about how he wants to promote actual anti-Semites, right? And what changed is not his actual worldview, for the record. What changed is the popular sentiment. So much so that even he realizes, like, he'll still hit the Hassan is an anti-Semitic terrorist button, as he did with the Bondi Beach massacre, right? Because, like, in between him saying, like, oh, these Israel first politicians need to go, he still turned around and said, oh, I bet Hassan's fans were responsible for the slaughter that took place on the Hanukkah festival. So he's still pretty fucking gross about it, right? He'll still go back and forth, because for his audience, they're not anchored around like being pro-Israel or being anti-Israel, right? They're anchored around resentment towards individuals. They're anchored around a consistent flow of like shitting on whoever his enemies are, ordained enemies are. So he could one day turn around and be like, oh, actually, I'm on the fuck Israel side of things, and I'm really, really anti-Israel. And I even understand why some people fight back against Israel, all this stuff, adopt the things that I've been saying, the talking points that I've been saying all along. Those guys will still, his fan base will still require a steady flow of fuck Hassan content. So he'll still probably be inconsistent on that front, because most of those guys won't turn around and go, wait a minute, he's actually anti-Israel, Hassan is anti-Israel. So what's the disagreement here? Why is he still calling Hassan a terrorist? They won't think about it like that. They'll simply look at it and be like, yeah, give me more.
and political priorities. That's very stunning because that is actually the only thing that she ruled on today. She did not rule on the other allegations that were raised by DHS that he allegedly misrepresented information on his green card application.
None of that matters. It doesn't have to matter. Like, they can just deport him for whatever reason they want.
So that is the exact opposite of what his new take is. Mahmoud Khalil did the exact.
Yeah. Also, once again, that was fucking bullshit. That was utter horseshit. He was celebrating Mahmoud Khalil getting deported. He demanded more of it. It was completely ridiculous. At the time, he was still in real time reacting to my commentary, and I was saying, like, you're wrong about the law, that the American government has to justify why they are seeking out the deportation of someone, especially someone who is married to an American citizen with a child on the way, who has a green card already. All of that stuff is bullshit. The Constitution actually protects citizens and non-citizens alike on First Amendment grounds. He was completely wrong. He was completely wrong on that stuff. But his audience never actually turned around and went, because all those cases fell apart, did his audience actually turn around and go, hey, remember when you said that? Remember when you said Mahmoud Khalil was supposed to be deported and how good that was? Why didn't that happen? Right? Or when now he talks about or why his audience won't call into question his like full-blown pivot on Israel, because he's always been like an edgy guy, right? So he's always like leaning into anti-Semitic memes from time to time in an effort to be like, see, I'm based, I'm edgy, while also doing the work of Israel every single fucking day. He also tried to prove you wrong only to watch a clip of himself agreeing with Netanyahu. Asmongold responded to my post about him backtracking his opposition to anti-Israel protesters. He said, I'm lying. To prove me wrong, he showed an old video of himself watching Netanyahu call anti-Israel protesters idiots, but back then Asmongold said he's right. Daily praise. Asmongold.
A year of daily praise. It's crazy that this account is called Disinformation Tracker. I think that it's accurate because the entire account tracks disinformation by posting it every day. It's not true. No, it's just simply not true.
Now claims he never trusted Trump. And he says protesting Israel's America first, despite prior calls for protesters to be jailed and deported.
So this entire idea that I'm just like warming up to the idea of being hostile towards Israel, or not even hostile, but just, you know, not wanting to support Israel as America. I mean, this is just, it's just a factually untrue statement. And all you have to do is look at my videos and you'll immediately see that's true. What he's saying is, look at this, watch this.
Right.
This was crazy.
We become Iran's useful idiots.
Get ready. Get ready.
He is correct about that, though.
Jesus.
His chat is all saying, actually, he's based,
Jesus.
holy based.
He's got a point? No. He's, well, part of what he's saying is true. No, it is.
That's amazing.
And see, I've been consistent about this the entire...
Wow, you really tackled that disinformation by showing perhaps the most inopportune time where you are in agreement with Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm sure he didn't like that they were clapping like fucking seals, but he also was. You need to focus and say how wrong he is because he likes to mention they're not saying I'm wrong. What do you mean? He is wrong. He was wrong because he's inconsistent on this position. He's at the mercy of his own chat. He sees his own chat hit like, well, he's not wrong on this point, though. He's not wrong on this point, though, which is why he reflected that attitude. On the one hand, he understands that it looks really fucking strange that the entire Congress is clapping like fucking seals, cackling like hyenas at the mere thought, at every fucking applause break that a foreign leader is delivering to Congress, okay? But also, there are a lot of things that foreign leader is saying that Asmongold's chat agrees with. Like, for example, all the pro-Palestinian protesters doing the bidding of Iran. And that's why he found himself directly agreeing. Curious, why did he click away before your clip played? Because you can't show the actual point, even if it's like more than 30 seconds long. Because God forbid you see me uninterrupted. Just like he did when he was watching my Ro Khanna interview where he agreed with me. Okay? He knows it's the same reason why he doesn't want to have a conversation. He doesn't want to entertain a debate. He is worried that if we did actually have a conversation, he would realize that, you know, many of his audience have been misled, usually by Asmongold, about what my positions are. It's always been negatively framed. You have to control the flow of information. Him happening to agree with Netanyahu on one thing doesn't mean he agrees with him on everything. What part of that you don't understand? Oh, that's the point that I was trying to explain to you. People like yourself don't recognize this, okay? Here's the issue. He takes a wishy-washy centrist position while simultaneously heavily leaning against the anti-Israel protesters. If you are in agreement with the American government at the time deporting anti-Israel protesters, and you regularly lie to your audience or are just objectively incorrect about your understanding of the law, you're objectively incorrect about who for the First Amendment actually chooses to protect and who it doesn't choose to protect, all this stuff. If you demand deportations of people who are speaking out against a foreign country like Israel by the American government, okay, then it's understandable for people to assume that you might be a little bit more pro-Israel than you let on. That's it. This is the Cope position. He never cared about Israel. I know he doesn't care about Israel. I know he doesn't give a shit about anything. That's my point. He doesn't have real political convictions at all. He's just feeding you whatever you want to hear. And I think he is pretty good at it, right? He's obviously pretty good at it, where his position is the most commonly held position on the right at this point, which is, I hate Muslims. They're all barbaric. They're all backwards. They shouldn't be coming to this country because they cannot assimilate to our glorious American culture, and Western civilization is under attack. But also, Israel, led by Jews, is, destroying American culture in a different way and is totally dominating Americans and totally humiliating Americans. Bomb it all and let God sort it out. This is a position that a lot of right-wingers have. The difference, however, is that some people actually say enough is enough in terms of the amount of money that we're giving to Israel, in terms of the amount of influence that pro-Israel advocacy groups have. And then they do actually take a real anti-Israel position. They don't actually celebrate, people like Mahmoud Khalil getting deported. Asmongold is not one of those people. Asmongold spent the last 2 years, like I said, over and over again, advocating for the pro-Israel position. He might have actually made you believe that he wasn't pro-Israel, but what matters in that situation is either he was either he was foolishly and inadvertently defending the pro-Israel position by saying all of Israel's critics must be deported, right? Or he was doing it on purpose. Because if your position in this situation is, Israel has too much control over the United States of America, but then you literally sound like fucking Barry Weiss over and over and over again, at a certain point, someone should call into question what your actual opinion is, right? And unfortunately for many of you, or not people in this chat, but many of Asmongold's fans, they never actually try to dig deep or understand or even see the inconsistencies of Asmongold's position. That's it. And that's why there is this major inconsistency in his commentary. But I think for a lot of fans, they'll turn around and say, no, he's just he just changed his mind. He just changed his mind. He has a new position on it. I don't think that's the case.
Thing you were saying people should do.
Why don't editors weaponize Asmongold's own words against them? Well, therein lies the problem. Because a lot of people, Asmongold is a very popular YouTuber and a very popular Twitch streamer for many, many years before he dove into the political arena, right? And because of that, because of the, multiple decades that he has been around, he's cultivated a very diehard fan base. And he's also not shy about weaponizing his fan base against any of his critics. So when you have a lot of people in your fan base that are a part of all these other fan bases as well, whether it be, Moist Critical's fan base or whether it be all the slop tubers and centrists and their fan bases as well, they're not going to go after him. Okay? They're not going to go after him. One, because they don't want to offend Asmongold fans in their audience, right? They've spent years and years cultivating a somewhat apolitical audience, and a lot of these apolitical people will lean in that direction. Okay. And when you actually do call out his hypocrisy, or if you do call out his commentary, if you find it to be dangerous, for example, if you find it to be silly or dangerous or whatever, and you actually, do the Hasanabi technique on Asmongold for once, then you end up putting your flag in the sand. You say, I'm against this. And he will go after you. He will punish you for saying that, as he has over and over again. And people just don't want that. People don't want to be attacked by Asmongold's audience. Asmon is incredibly consistent on his views. They just don't fit in a neat box. There's more nuance to it. He supported the Israel stance in regards to Palestine, doesn't support Israel in regards to control over the American government. Okay. So you're saying he's pro-Israel doing a genocide. He just wants Israel to do the genocide with its own weapons. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, he just didn't want America involved in Palestine at all. Yeah, without American involvement, Israel would not exist, so it doesn't really matter. So, again, this reflects on your or his lack of understanding of history. Because without American intervention and steady flow of weapons and political and social support, material support to Israel, it would be Palestine. And I suspect you're wrong on this. And I'm certain that he has talked about Israel having a right to defend itself, or even like Iron Dome spending and shit like that in the past as well.
Criticizing Israel, and they deported him for his free speech criticizing Israel. You supported that, and now you're saying, well, obviously we should.
Like, do you understand how silly that sounds? By the way, where you're like, oh, he's just consistent in his position? It's just nuanced. Okay, then why the fuck do you think it's appropriate for the American government to spend any money deporting people who are also saying the same shit Asmongold is saying now, which is that Israel has a lot of fucking influence over American politics, and that must end? Do you understand how inconsistent that position is, chatter? How can you, on the one hand, celebrate the deportation of people or the jailing of people that are literally in agreement with your position, apparently? Genocide or not, whether you agree with Israel doing a genocide or you don't agree with Israel doing a genocide, what is clear is, yeah, he said this was based, like the Tufts University PhD student being detained by federal agents. Same with fucking Mahmoud Khalil. He said it was fucking cool. He said it was awesome. That is anti-First Amendment. Okay? Bro, I like you, but your chat does the same thing. They go after people like rabid dogs. I, unlike Asmongold, actively tell my chat never to go after people. So whether people do it or not, I at least try to get them to not do it. Okay? And plus, you don't even have a fucking real world example of this. I even tell people not to go after people who are calling me out with regular fucking frequency. It's probably a mistake. It's so fucking annoying because he hides behind the exact thing that he said. They have every right to do whatever they want. Does not equal I agree with, or at least what he says.
Support Israel. We should all get on a list for criticizing Israel, because that's the patriotic thing to do. Because they're doing Israel first. We need to do America first. This is incredible.
That's what the rules say. I said this at the beginning. Everybody was getting mad at me for saying.
Brother, it's not America first. It's not America first. Once again, while I watch both you and him. I don't agree with all his positions personally, particularly on Israel, Palestine, but I do think his views are consistent. You are watching an inconsistency, and you are having a hard time, perhaps, because you might really like this guy, okay? And that's fine. You really like him, and you don't want to see him. You don't want to see him be undermined. You don't want to see his worldview be undermined because you agree with his worldview, or at least you've been led to believe that his worldview is consistent. Okay? The question I have for you once again is, if you are America first and you agree with cutting ties with Israel, as you say Asmongold is consistent on, why would you want the American government to literally criminalize people who are criticizing Israel? I'm an American citizen. Asmongold has demanded my deplatforming over and over again because of my anti-Israel commentary. Mahmoud Khalil is a green card holder. Asmongold in this video is talking about how fucking based it is that Mahmoud Khalil, for taking an anti-Israel stance, should be deported from the country. That is not an America First position. That is not a consistent position. Do you understand?
It's like it's a fucking fact. Yeah, that's what the rules say. That's fucked up, though. No, it's not.
What I do is revoke visas, and it's very simple. A visa it's not a right; it is a privilege. People apply for student visas to come into the United States and study.
That's right.
Get the fuck out, bro. Get them the fuck out.
So they sacrifice their free speech. If they come to this country, they sacrifice their right to free speech. No, that's the whole point of a right. A right means it's off the table. It's protected no matter what. It's the opposite of a privilege. A privilege is something that can be given and taken away. A right is something that's supposed to be set in stone, off the table, always protected. So no, you don't sacrifice your right to...
Like, if you are objectively anti-First Amendment, then I don't understand how you can be America first. It's additionally funny to be objectively anti-First Amendment in defense of not even America, but a foreign country, Israel, in this situation. It's the least pro-America first position you can arrive at.
Free speech if you're an immigrant to this country. We all at one point or another were immigrants to this country. Does that mean we can't criticize the government? We can't say things they don't want us to say? No, this is literally against the First Amendment, against the Constitution.
This is what I voted for. It's crazy that left-wing people have gotten flanked so bad that this is now a position that they have to fight against.
Is that what Ms. Ozturk did? We're not going to give you a what she did. Come on, Mr.
Look
Secretary.
how mad he is.
Yeah, he's mad because somebody was deported for writing an op-ed that was mildly critical of Israel. That's why he's mad. And actually, if I remember correctly, her case, she was like disappeared for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And it was so bad, even Charlie Kirk actually criticized that one. Okay? That one was so insane that even Charlie Kirk was like, this is a bridge too far. Understand how fucking psychotic that is. I remember Charlie Kirk, who was super on board with the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, saw the Öztürk situation and was like, this is a little bit too much, I think. This is a direct violation. Even though both are direct violations. Rumeysa Öztürk was black-bagged and kidnapped in broad fucking daylight for an article that she wrote lightly criticizing Israel in her college newspaper. Nothing radical, even though if she wrote something radical, it still would have been unjustifiable. But this adds insult to injury.
They like disappeared her.
In rage face.
Come on, Mr. Secretary. And every single one of these cases, the factors are different. Senator, the bottom line is, if you're here to stir up trouble on our campuses, we will deny you a visa. And if you
Why did this guy stop responding, by the way? I don't think you are fully informed on how he operates. Why did the other guy stop responding when I pointed out this inconsistency?
First Amendment applies to we'll revoke
live in the United States.
And we're going to do more.
It shouldn't. If I could go back in time and vote for him, I absolutely would. I did not think that he was going to go this hard at all. Protest, what makes a protest unlawful? The refusal to disperse when the police tell you to disperse, and the restricting access and freedom of movement in a public place.
Yeah, when China does this, by the way, he will say this is authoritarian. Okay, understand this. If the police control the boundaries of protest, then they could just say every protest is unlawful. And as a matter of fact, as someone who has attended many protests, I will tell you, they do that all the time. Okay? That is also a violation of the First Amendment. Taking on every single instance of state violence and saying, well, it's justifiable because the cops said so, is basically the same way that like people defend Russia or people defend protests that get tackled or dispersed in places like China. Everywhere else around the world, this is what happens. This is what states do. I agree with you. I think he was wrong in that situation about the deportation of Khalil. I think he was positioning himself against Palestine in that instance. So in that instance, he was pro-Israel. What the fuck does that even mean, brother? I don't understand anymore. Okay, so he was inconsistent then. That was my point. He is being inconsistent. It is not America first at all. You are trying to figure out a way to justify the previous argument that you made. One of the greatest, most liberating things that one can do is to say, you know what? Maybe I was wrong on this. I promise you, you will win a lot more favors in that regard. Okay? It's okay. Like, I'm not going to bully you. I'm not going to penalize you. I'm not going to punish you. I'm not even going to fucking remember what you said prior. Why is it that Asman fans come to try to debate you, yet Asman avoids the debate or talk to you? Because Asmongold fans have anonymity at least, so I can't like call into question their previous statements, so they think they can be sheltered like that, but all they're doing is regurgitating Asmongold's talking points, and Asmongold knows better than all of his fans to not come and have a conversation with me because I will immediately call out that inconsistency. He just doesn't want to, he doesn't want to be embarrassed. Yeah, Asman's fans are duped. Asman knows that, which is why he's afraid. And many of his fans won't even actually come in here and entertain my side, which is precisely the reason why I don't go too hard on Asmongold's fans unless they're like literally coming in here to be like, you're a fucking terrorist, I'm going to kill you, right? And there are plenty of those and we ban them. But when someone comes in here as a fan of Asmongold, I don't immediately fucking attack them, because at least those people are literally entertaining my position without being negatively framed, okay? Yeah, being in an echo chamber does feel good. I totally get that. You don't follow reason, he does. Once again, I just showed you how unreasonable this inconsistency is. I know you can just repeat that over and over again like a mantra, as like a self-soothing behavior, like a baby. Just because someone says that they're actually utilizing facts, utilizing logic. You are full of contradictions, Law. Present to me a contradiction in any of my political opinions, please. Let me guess. Socialism but house. Socialism but rich, right? That's not a contradiction, but you assume it's a contradiction, and you will continue to present it as a contradiction. Go ahead. Give me an example. You said you are not gay. It's funny. I was wrong on a point, and I looked for that chatter for 2 freaking days to tell them they were right, and I was wrong. Lol, the fuck you want to be right for if you know you're not? I'm a fan of both of you, but when you frame his positions disingenuously and hyperbolically, it doesn't sit quite right with me. I generally like your takes. Okay. What is the position that I'm framing disingenuously or hyperbolically? Asmongold is inconsistent on his stances as it pertains to Israel. Asmongold, in this video, is very clearly showcasing how so much support for people who are critical of Israel. And now Asmongold himself is actually saying the exact same things that he demanded people get deported over. Do you feel like that was a sincere and you say he's for the genocide, but he isn't, for example? Brother, he literally said that the Palestinians are worthy of genocide because they have a what are you talking about? That was his own position. You want me to pull up the clip? I'm sure he might have changed his position from that point on, but he did openly say that. That's not what he said. Yeah, Palestinians are an inferior culture that's incredibly violent, and that's why I don't care if they're being genocided. If you consider that to not be pro-genocide, then why the fuck do you hate Barry Weiss, for example? Like, this doesn't make any sense. These have to be troll comments on purpose using framing to look contentious. Yeah, this is what I don't understand.
Like, a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people. They have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people.
Yes, pull it up. That's not what he said. Okay.
It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing.
Sometimes I feel like Asmongold fans come in here to do like a slam dunk compilation for me, like where they just come in here to showcase like how you know, they think they can have like a semantics perverted debate, okay, over the minutia, but it just like doesn't work at all.
And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not.
Just gave a contradiction, Law. Wait, what? What's that? What's the contradiction? Brother, you have to be able to, you know, give me one example, right? You just said you support, contradiction. You support CCP police, but are pro-protest in the USA. At what point did I say that I was against protests in China? Point to a single instance where I've ever said protest in China is actually wrong and immoral or bad. As a matter of fact, I think you didn't understand my point that I was making earlier when I said suppression of dissent, no matter where it is, whether it be China or Russia, is wrong. Okay? Did you hear me say that just now? Is that why you just like leaned into that? Look at your actions in China, total contradictions. What are you talking about? Oh, he's right though. Okay, so you agree with him on his position. You agree with his like I don't care about Israel genociding Palestinians position, because that's a little different. You say he's for the genocide, but he isn't, for example, but you agree with him. So what you're doing here is not actually addressing the position that Asmongold is taking. You just simply agree with him, and therefore you don't want to admit that you and him on this issue are on the pro-genocide position. Okay, got it. No, I mean, that's understandable. You are missing a huge contradiction. He used to talk to you literally on stream, and now he says all kinds of shit to avoid talking to you, saying you're bad faith or that he doesn't like talking to people because of reasons. No, I know. Notice how everyone that says I'm a fan of both of you, oftentimes, weirdly enough, are definitely fans of one side and not the other. It's just so strange because people will always be like, no, I'm a fan of both of you. But I mean, Asmongold is actually very logical. Look, I hope that's the case. And I hope you guys can be open-minded, especially because you're here. You know, especially because you're here. So I like to assume that even on accident, you might actually arrive at my positions somehow. You might just get like, it's worse than that. I think it's about Hassan not getting mad when during his interaction with that cop in China. That's so funny. That's not a contradiction. The American police, regardless of my American citizenship, the border police have detained me and in violation of American laws against an American citizen, demanded answers for what my political associations were and detained me for 2 hours, as opposed to a 2-minute back and forth conversation that ended with me continuing my stream at Tiananmen Square as a foreigner in a foreign adversary. It's pretty obvious that my position there is consistent as well. Do I think it's appropriate to look at people's phones? Of course not. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Having said that, I'm going to match that with my experiences that I've had with my own country, where I have so much more power. I'm supposed to have so many more rights and liberties. A country that actually does have free speech, that is not abiding by the principles of free speech when they do things like that. Once again, this is not a contradiction. My own country, and the police that I actually pay the salaries of have opened fire on myself and my neighbors while we were out exercising our First Amendment rights that are supposed to be constitutionally protected. That, I think, is unacceptable. I'm not pro-genocide either. Obviously, I do really enjoy your streams and your takes, but you just misinterpret things in such a hyperbolic way that sometimes it makes it a little bit less credible. Brother, when someone says Israel doing a genocide is perfectly valid, I don't really care because, like, invented reason, Palestinians have genocide baked into their DNA, and you say you agree with them, then I don't understand why you're still claiming that you're not pro-genocide. We can hear the things that you're saying. It's not a misinterpretation. We can hear the things he's saying here. It's very strange. It's a very strange thing that people do. You are saying you're pro-genocide. You're agreeing with Asmongold saying he's pro-genocide, at least in that moment. He might have changed his attitude since then. This chatter is a racist lib that has hurt feelings over feeling called out. I don't know. I don't think he's a racist lib.
Impeding travel, yeah. It's very simple. It's so simple. Roadblocks and the scope of the protest is big. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like this is like a national event. Yeah, this is a national event. It's a really big fucking deal. And so, like, I think this transcends like a small protest or whatever. I mean, this is a direct protest against the government. And also, like, I'm sure that, I mean, and also this is mainly at night, right? I mean, you're looking at a lot of this at night, so there's probably not as many people driving around. Like, obviously it's not good to block traffic, but I feel like that's not really, like, the entire city, the entire country is being shut down, right?
So the tune has changed. Hassan also commented on this. He said, "The rats are escaping the sinking ship. Asmongold commended the ADL when they were getting pro-Palestinian CCs deplatformed for criticizing Israel for the past 2 years. He supported Trump deporting Mahmoud Khalil. Now he's trying to pivot to an anti-Israel position." And that's the point that everybody needs to realize.
I think it's interesting how you give Asmon and everyone so much grace, and then people come in here and won't give you an inch. All the bad faith showcased on a regular basis is astounding. Principles matter. That is a principle that I have. And although I have weak moments where I say enough is enough and I yell and whatever the fuck, right? Okay. Principles matter. That's why I yell at my chat when they constantly fucking, that's why I yell at my chat when they say, oh, why are you being so kind to these people? You should be fucking really giving it to them. And I say, no, that's not how I operate. I argue with my community all the time on what the best practices are. Okay. It's funny because you said people will flip on Israel, but they didn't flip because they care about genocide. They cared because a neo-Nazi convinced them Jews run the world. No, I think that it's a little bit of both. Asman received so much less flack and even be received positively if he just said the words, "I was wrong" before he did this. Oh, for sure. And I'm sure he will do that as well eventually on more indefensible flip-flops. And then liberals will dive into how wonderful and how open-minded he is, because they're always looking for a person. This dude literally said you provided material support to a terrorist organization, and this chatter wants to talk about hyperbolic. Yeah. Yeah, at a time when the administration was openly trying to fucking prosecute people, myself included, when they detained me, they tried to say that I was, they were investigating whether or not I was providing material support to a terrorist organization. Asmongold was running around saying that was the case. And then people still have the audacity to fucking turn around and make it seem as though I'm the one who's being hyperbolic. And I'm the one who's being hyperbolic because I'm actually calling out the inconsistency, for the record.
Problem with being a leftist is that we're right too early. On everything, we're right too early.
Yes.
And then eventually everybody catches up and goes, oh yeah, well, duh, that's the duh position. We all agree to that. And I'm not kidding. Think about the Iraq War. I'm old enough to remember living through that era.
This was a really funny one too. This is like a perfectly captured inconsistency. Here. Asmongold, Hassan is a fake revolutionary. He's not on the street putting his life on the line. Here, if you want to understand like his attitude, this 55-second clip basically explains everything. Okay, here.
You see Hassan? No, I don't see Hassan. I heard he was out there. I don't know. I think that I saw an image of it, and I think he's on like the side up the top. So he's not actually going to go down there and stand in the in this area, because if he did, he'd get in trouble. Right? Like, he has no problem LARPing as a revolutionary, but actually putting it on the line, this is going to be very different, which, to be fair, he was. Well, if he was actually doing that, he should get in trouble. Like, I mean, for sure. He was, though? Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go and double check. He already did? Oh, I'd have to double see and see it. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think all these people should just get arrested. That's really how I see it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how like, there's no other solution to it other than that. Aren't they impeding a highway? They are. They're impeding a highway.
The most consistent man in American politics. Bro, rubber bullet missed your head by like an inch or two during this one, right? Yes. This is where me and Marsh were down here, and we got fucking stun grenaded on this one too. Is it even legal to take such a sharp U-turn? I mean, it's celebrated and it's cherished. But once again, Asmongold fans don't care that this is like openly being inconsistent. Especially because it's about tackling enemies, okay? If you are inconsistent when you are shitting on someone who is an ordained enemy, an ontologically evil enemy, no amount of inconsistency will snap people out of it. I like the Hutch version of this where he shows how he's so good at always being wrong. The bald head is truly empty. Yeah. Here, yeah, another great example of this is also the inconsistency within like the way these guys, as someone in the chat said, the way these guys are constantly calling everyone a Karen or whiny, right? But all they do is fucking whine, but they're whining in the direction that people agree with. The people in their fan bases agree with, so they don't read that as whiny. What's more Karen-like and whiny than fucking constantly complaining that video games don't have large enough titties for your excitement? Like demanding developers get fired because they're, gay, or they're putting gay shit in video games, and it just like hurts your feelings to see that. It's ridiculous. Complaining about ridiculous, irrelevant shit and trying to harm people. That right there is peak Karenhood. It's the same reason why a lot of the right that complain about identity politics don't realize that they're routinely doing identity politics when they talk about white men being under attack. When they're doing white identity politics, they don't think that it's identity politics. Do you understand? All of it is fucking inconsistent. Oh, I'm pro First Amendment, but also if you offend me or you hurt my feelings, you should be fucking drawn and quartered.
And in that era, if you said, I'm against the Iraq war, why do you hate the troops? Why are you defending Saddam Hussein? Why are you okay with evil dictators? Like, You got hit with every bullshit argument under the sun, and
that was one of my favorite things too. Like even with the Charlie Kirk stuff, Asmongold and many others on the right who are, you know, Mr. Even if it hurts your feelings, free speech is free speech. No one should be canceled. We hate cancel culture. We're actively championing websites, doxing websites that were identifying people that had even posted Charlie Kirk quotes so they would be fired from their jobs. They did that. And now I'm sure they've moved on from that position because everyone is actually clowning on Charlie Kirk's legacy, right? Now the Kirkification memes are so fucking, now the Kirkification memes are so prominent that like they can't even defend that position, right? One of my favorite versions of that was the pedophile neo-Nazi Sam Hyde, Mr. Edge. Okay, Mr. I'm responsible for every mass shooting. His community is comprised entirely of fucking, you know, pedophilic neo-Nazis who love how edgy daddy is. Sam Hyde fucking backed himself into a corner because he cried after Charlie Kirk got killed, and his fans were fucking running around being like, oh my God, you made Sam Hyde cry. Now he can't even engage in the Kirkification memes. He basically laid his fucking position as Mr. Edge at they killed Charlie Kirk and now I'm crying and we must punish everyone. I didn't fucking forget. What happened to the Edge? What happened to the fucking Edge? Asmongold defended the firing of a ghost of Yote Dev and said he will follow and make sure she will never get a job. That's it. Anti-SJWs behave in the same exact way that SJWs behave. They railed against SJWs not because of the form and not because of you know, what they were doing, being a nuisance or fucking, you know, trying to get people fired or anything. They argued against them because they didn't agree with their worldview. They don't care about the tactics. They agree with the tactics. Okay? To be fair, Dean Withers did the same thing and he still does Charlie Kirk memes after crying. Yeah, I don't care. Like, okay, fine. I know. I saw.
it was overwhelming. Like, they did the propaganda buildup, and it was like some super...
There was never a moment where I entertained, like, offering reverence to Charlie Kirk or whitewashing his legacy from the first moment on. And it's really interesting because Nick Fuentes, who spent another person who spent his entire fucking political career shitting on Charlie Kirk, stalking him actively, right? Literally yelled about my response to Charlie Kirk. He was like, Hassan should be crying. Like, Hassan should be crying about Charlie Kirk. How dare he? How dare he not respond in the way that I think he should respond? Now he's also doing the fucking Charlie Kirk memes. What happened? What happened? The thing is, I feel like Dean, given his position on the political spectrum, probably gets yelled at a lot more for doing a 180 than any number of different people on the right. That's the other side of this, because the right wingers don't give a shit about hypocrisy at all, or don't give a shit about people's attitudes changing at all. They just, as long as you're still attacking the common enemy, that's all it is.
Large majority of the country that supported the war. If you were a leftist, you were right too early. Now, you can't find anybody that supports the Iraq war. Everybody agrees with every point we made from day one, right? This is the thing. Lefties are always right too early, and that's exactly what happened in this case, too. We were right when we talked about how Trump's in the fucking Epstein files, and Trump is Epstein's best friend, and Trump committed all sorts of heinous crimes with underage girls. We were right about that. People are catching up to that. Now that he's hiding it very clearly, they released pictures of the Epstein files that had him in it, then they pulled it down. Everybody sees what's happening. Everybody understands, and they go, oh shit, this is unacceptable. You know, we said Trump is bought and owned by the Israel lobby. Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million and he did her bidding. Now the quid pro quo is Israel's going to get to steal the West Bank. We warned you about that. It's happening right in front of our eyes. I told you the peace deal was fake. I was the only person saying it on day one.
I'm not a Dean stan by any means, but I don't think he would even call it a 180. He was there when it happened. No, I don't think Dean was there when it happened. Parker was there when it happened. But like, you can at least say Dean knows Charlie Kirk and stuff. You know, he's met Charlie Kirk, shit like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck about the hypocrisy baiting in general. It was Parker that was there, not Dean that was there. And regardless, what did I say at the time? I said he's young. Okay? I said it even back then. He's young. He's like fucking 19 years old, dude. Of course, a dude that he had like seen, a dude that he had met, a dude that he was trying to debate got fucking clapped. It's an emotional moment. He's probably a little bit traumatized, you know? It was traumatic for a lot of people, myself included. I was very open about it. Even on the day of, I was telling you, like, look, my commentary on this is probably going to be a lot different than what you expect, because like it's impossible for me not to see this as like myself in the same exact situation. This is a person that I have debated since 2017, right? Make no mistake, I'm not going to fucking defend him at all. I'm not going to defend his positions at all, and I will tackle anyone that tries to fucking claim that Charlie Kirk was actually, you know, doing politics the right way or whatever. But, you know, is a traumatic first response.
That the ceasefire in Israel was fake. I've been proven 100% correct about that, right? You name an issue, I will tell you how the left has been correct too early, and we get dumped on for being correct, and then eventually everybody comes to our position. So now, you know, you're pointing out how Trump is actually Israel first, and he's not U.S. first, right? So now you're pointing out, oh, that's kind of problematic, and he's doing some fucked up shit. Now, it's, we better criticize Israel, and we better get our name on that list of people who criticize Israel. Before it was, deport the immigrants who are criticizing Israel correctly. So this is what we go through. This is what we go through. But you know what? It's okay, because at the end of the day, I will take it that people are moving in the right direction, which is why, by the way, Trump's now at a 35% approval rating, and it's only going to get lower. Inflation's going up, unemployment's going up, the trade war was fucking stupid. He's trying to do regime change in Venezuela. Iran is not done yet. If you think they're done trying to overthrow Iran, you're just wrong. Bombing Yemen, bombing Somalia, threatening Panama, invading U.S. cities with the U.S. military, rounding up innocent people, putting them in concentration camps. I mean, the list goes on and on. The most corrupt regime we've seen ever in U.S. history, and it's not even close, robbing his own supporters, making billions of dollars while in the White House, off of the White House. Like, we've never seen anything like this before, right? And now what's happened now is the rolling thunder thing where they hit you with 10 things a day. All of those things are so bad, and it's all stacking on top of the next thing, like this, to the point where you can't, like, there's no way you can go through a day without hearing something horrific that the regime is doing. And so it's waking people up. It's waking people up. You know, sending $40 billion to Argentina while Americans are starving and losing their health care. What the fuck is that? You know, that's something that even a guy like Asmongold is going to look at that and go, really? Really? And so here we are. The rats are escaping the sinking ship. And look, the only thing you have to look out for is until Trump is totally politically gonzo, you will see this back and forth thing. How many times have we seen it with different right-wing figures? How many times have we seen it with Alex?
Yep, absolutely. He's 100% right on this too. Like, until the Trump admin is completely fucking gone, until the Trump administration is like utterly indefensible. He's low Kirk being a Karen here. If you guys want to make a list, I have time. If I have time tomorrow, I can put them all together in a video with links to their employers. Wait, what's Asmongold's current take on the Charlie Kirk memes? Does he still actually fake get mad at that shit or no? Because I don't know. This is my dog Kaya.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll talk to him a little bit bigger. When I was on TMZ, I used to stand in the back, tower over people.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the first time I've ever seen like a setup like this.
Yeah, this is your first time in a Twitch stream,
In the world of streaming. Ever.
Yeah. Okay.
What are the rules?
Nothing. No rules. It's just chill. Van Lathan, everybody.
Oh, you're doing it right now?
Oh yeah, I'm live. I've been live. There's 30,000 people watching.
30,000 people watching?
Yeah.
I'm unked out right now. I have no idea how any of this
this
works.
is. I mean, look, I'm unked too. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 45.
Okay, you're more unked than I am, but I'm also.
You're not unk at all.
No, 34 is supposed to be like big bro, but I think. Oh, also don't show your phone on that camera. That's the camera that we're using.
Yeah. You don't want to see my explore page.
But yeah,
you don't want to see.
We can look at it. But if in this realm, you're anything over the age of like 20, you're unk. They treat
20?
they treat you like you're dying. And to be fair, I am dying a little bit. I busted my ankle playing basketball.
How'd you bust your ankle? Can you hoop?
Yeah, I mean a little bit.
What's your game? Who's your game like? Who would you compare your game to?
I say a little bit like Jokic, but
A little bit like Jokic, so the best player in the entire league.
Yeah, they call me the Turkish Jokic. That's what they say. Look, they're claiming I can't hoop. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we need to see some. Do you have video of you hooping?
Yeah. I got you. Hold on. Here. Where is it?
How Hassan shined in the Creator Basketball Tournament.
No, I know, but I want the original video.
But who you out here playing against, though? That's the thing.
I was playing against. You'll see. Hold on. I'm gonna show it to you.
I'm
gonna show it to you. Hold on. Oh, here's the video.
I brought 16 of the biggest creators who hoop for a 1v1 tournament, and the winner gets $10,000. Let's go! Wow. And the first matchup is
drum roll.
Cash versus Noah.
Do you know Cash Nasty?
Oh, your brother.
What, he was with Nick Briz?
I don't know.
He wasn't Cash Nasty one of the guys? Wasn't there when the pandemic happened? I got hooked on these crazy street ball games.
Oh yeah.
With
Well,
those
I don't know.
guys.
I don't know about the other guy, but he was one of the guys.
I think Cash Nasty was.
He probably
He wasn't
yeah.
with him, but he had a beef with Nick Bricks or Nick Briz or whatever.
Nick
something like
Briz?
that.
I don't know.
You know that guy, the guy that like he dunks like the white guy. You never see this crazy street ball like they go to these like, hey, we're going to Baton Rouge like crazy.
Wait, are you talking about the guy who looks like Ninja? The white guy, the dunk guy, the dunk
guy, yeah, he dunks.
Oh yeah,
so he had a beef with Cash
Oh,
Nasty.
he did?
Like, I was watching this. I was literally in Santorini, and I'm watching this stuff. Like
Hold on,
I
let
got
me see if
hooked
I can
on it,
find it
over and over. And there was a whole drama between Nick Briz and Cash Nasty. Nick was on.
Wait, maybe this is a different white guy actually, because I the one I'm thinking
what
of
I'm
is
talking about.
the one
Talking
I'm
about
thinking
him.
about is a different white guy.
But he started off. He started off as a dude who he would do those videos like LeBron be like, and he would act like him when he was like dunking and trying to act like he's mimicking his player mannerisms, and then he became a street ball. I want to see you hoop though.
Okay, so
yeah.
I just wanted to set it up for you so you understand. Like the competition is pretty fucking solid, right?
Okay, yeah.
Where is the first game?
I got refs.
Oh, here. This is my first game.
That's you. All right. Let's see.
I think. Oh no, J Dub is there too. No, that's not me. That's J Dub. I don't know why I thought that was me. That's crazy. I wish I could play like J Dub, right? You might have seen him.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen a lot of these basketball.
Yeah, they're all pretty big basketball creators. So, but like there were actual ballers, like actual hooper creators.
Yeah,
and then there were people like myself who aren't like hooper content creators at all.
But you
right?
hoop, but you play.
But we like kind of play. Some of the people don't even play at all, honestly. Like I feel like Jesser brought us in just to get us to be dominated, right?
But then you.
Oh, here it is. So this is my first game. Hudson
versus Hassan.
Look at this guy. He looks.
I'm so scared.
He's scared.
We got the final matchup of the first round, so neither of you post basketball content, but you both hoop. So what's your experience?
I played.
Yeah, he don't hoop either.
What the fuck is going on?
So I don't think he hoops. I don't think he hoops either.
Like, he looks like one of the disaffected males that is trying. He looks like a groiper. Like what?
Oh, no, he was really nice. He's like 16. He's a really nice guy. He's a YouTuber as well. He's I forget, but he's a YouTuber. He
Middle
was really,
school,
really nice.
and that was the last time
he looks kind of tall.
He told me he was a fan too.
Played in the league, but you know, I
see what you mean though.
I think I got this. I'm gonna make sure
he looks like straight out of TPUSA.
Okay.
Like,
Oh
damn,
he's
going all the way.
pro-life.
All right, yeah, bro.
I hope not.
I'm nowhere near as confident as Hudson is. I'm an old man. I feel like they brought me out here specifically so like, they could do some dunk compilations off of like a person that at least is comparable in size to like a Chris or a J-Dub, but I do hoop.
What's the pitch? What do they say?
Oh, I've known Jesser for a minute. So he was just like, bro, I want to do like this one-on-one competition with like, a prize or whatever. I obviously don't give a shit about the prize money or anything, but I think it's like good.
Hooping and play basketball.
I love hooping, and also I think it's like a good way to put me out there that's not expressly political, because like all my content is politics, right?
Right.
But here,
enjoy it. I'm just here to have fun.
This is the first game, but it's not.
Oh yeah, so I mean, you play a little bit.
Okay, I've never really seen Hudson
He's
hoop.
not bad. See, he's
Oh,
got.
he's a
He's a lefty. He can play.
He's a lefty.
Whoa. Bro, he can't score again or I'm cooked.
Oh, you bet on this game?
Yeah, -6 Hassan.
Keeping it open. He's taking it.
Bro, you got to guard that, Hudson.
You got to step up.
Another.
Dude, he reminds me of like a 1960s power forward. 5-1.
Yeah, you play in the big man game.
I play like a. I play.
6-1.
I play like
he is
a
at
plumber.
game point.
This guy's straight.
I can use my left too. I can use my left as well. So
right.
that was 7-1, right? That was my first game.
Yeah,
but
let me
then
see you
the
play
real
somebody
one.
black.
But the real.
Yeah, let me see you play somebody black. Put a.
Oh no, this is gonna
put a black American up there.
Okay, well.
See,
I'm just letting you know
because I just saw you dominate the heartland. Let's see if you could dominate the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's coming.
I want to see it. Okay. You have to play him?
My charity event that I did taught me how to shoot a 3-pointer. If not,
finals.
Yes, sir.
He
came to my charity event that I did, taught me how to shoot a
6'10".
3-pointer, basically.
You taught him how to play. So this is is this teacher versus the student right now?
I mean, I guess, but the only thing I have on
Navi. Okay, I do want to.
No caveats.
No,
let the video speak for itself.
Okay.
What's the caveat?
The caveat is actually Chris plays very differently now than he did here.
him is potentially
But you'll
posting
see
him
why.
down. He's a better shooter than me. He's faster than me. He's better on D. It's going to be tough.
Okay, let's see what happens.
You know what I like?
Chris?
Though? I like this content.
Yeah, Jesser does great basketball content.
He's taking this very seriously. He's getting the player perspectives, the whole nine. I like the content.
Chris as well. I don't know. Hassan had such a dominant performance, and Chris almost didn't make it here.
Yeah, if anyone can back down Chris, it will be Hassan, I would say. He's strong.
Outside game.
Well.
Boom.
Oh my God, the bank
Gotta call that
3.
bank, but-
He's already doing better than he predicted he would.
Give me another one.
I thought it was going to be a skunk
Top.
at this point.
Shot. Another bank. No way.
Yeah, 2 banks.
No way he banked it in again.
No, that's not
With
the
the
craziest one.
NJ
Just wait.
Can't leave Hassan open at the top. He's actually got most of his points off the check.
Give me another one.
No way.
They look good.
If he hit that one, my goodness.
One dribble pull up.
Just wait.
one dribble
he
pull.
does a 1 dribble pull. Doesn't work.
Yes! Oh my God! The crowd is stunned. We're all stunned.
This guy right here. I see this guy playing in the one-on-one stuff all the time too.
Yeah, he's a fucking demon.
Yeah, but he was like a D1 player or something. What's his name?
Yeah, he was actually, I think Friga. So he was actually
Friga,
I think he was D3,
Okay.
but he's much better as a player now than he was in college.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he like never stopped playing, and I think in COVID he started popping off. He is a demon. He is one of the best players I've played against. I would say J-Dub too, but like he definitely Friga.
Stunned right now.
What is happening right now?
Can Chris make the
gonna be
7-0
like a-
comeback? Hassan just needs one more.
Oh, 3 banks.
Skunked him.
3 banks, 8-0.
Skunked him.
So I mean, what happened to this man after this? Like, wait.
So
this was like
Chris-
a long, drawn out
So
him
Chris
and Bears
went,
type deal.
So Chris went from this point on into a training arc that other people have informed me is so insane.
Right.
That he went back to his roots. Like he did like a Naruto style training arc, and he's like Wemby out there now. He's doing logo threes. He's shooting like half court shots, making them at like creator games that they've been doing. And he's been demanding a rematch nonstop.
And you're not giving him.
But I can't because I keep getting injured. I keep getting fatter and fatter. I haven't like played it all, so I feel like it's not going to be like a good enough game for him. But my point is, he literally since that like a couple months after that, he hit me up and was like, "Yo, when are we playing again? When are we playing again?" We almost had one. We almost had a rematch, and then I was traveling too much. That I've just been ducking him.
Yeah.
And now he is just insanely good.
Okay, but you
keep ducking him.
No rematch. No. Don't duck him. Look into the camera. No rematch.
No.
You had your chance. No. You had your chance.
I love Chris. He's the man.
I'm sure he's a great guy. But you got to ask yourself this question. What good does it do for you to go out now and get your ass
but
bust?
respect.
Respect to him? Well, just you're doing it right now. You're admitting that if y'all played, he'll probably bust your ass. But what's the point of doing it?
He's such a sweetheart. I will one day when I'm confident. I will one day. You waited too long for the rematch. This shit's gonna be like Tyson versus Paul.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Tyson versus Paul.
I don't know who the Tyson and who the Paul is in this situation.
Well, you're definitely Jake Paul in this situation.
but Jake Paul won.
You're definitely Jake Paul in this situation.
So look at his face.
Zero.
No,
he's not tripping at all.
No, he's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart.
Okay. Also, let's be real. So, all right, what were the rules in this? Was this 3 dribbles? Was this was there any? So this was
no unlimited.
Okay. So unlimited. So he chose to play a perimeter game that allowed you to kind of because he could have took a couple dribbles.
I was putting up a lot of 3 points even in the past game, and even when I was warming up. So he did undermine my outside game.
How far did you go in the tournament?
After this, I don't forget what point I got to, but I played against the guy who got second place after this, and I of course I played against J-Dub and he cooked me.
Hey, well, let's see if you can get that 10K.
Yeah, see, after this.
Oh, that's his shot.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you was tired too.
Chris, don't feel bad.
Oh man, it's just
J-Dub not playing.
It's not making me feel better.
Top.
Yeah,
J-Dub starts off 2-0.
6'6", 6'7".
Oh wow.
But I was I got my hand on him, and he's letting me. I guess he wasn't dropping at that point.
Right
now? That is tough, bro.
Chris, stop.
And then also,
gotta hit one.
This is
yeah.
So coming off of an upset.
Another one. Oh, there it is. There it is.
That's my shot.
2-2.
That's insane.
So
he once made 1,000 threes in one
Oh,
stream.
back to back. No, he doesn't.
Oh, if that went back to back, I could have won there too. I could have won there as well. That's crazy.
What the fuck is going on, man? I'm just saying, a lot of these guys. What's all these notifications?
I'm just getting. There's a lot of people coming over later for Christmas Eve. So I just wanted to see if there was anything that was serious, family text messages, but it's fine.
So, I saw that you having the whole family's coming over there. That's fun.
Yeah. Don't let Van lie to you. He streams all the time on his show Tailgate. I set up his fucking shit.
Who is that?
I don't know. This person who's a 58-month subscriber named Mawala.
I have no idea who that is. Tailgate is a streaming show. We stream on Saturday. But the streaming world is not anything that I know about. But I don't count. Does YouTube Live count as streaming? We're doing a live show on the stream.
Yeah.
I guess that counts. But as far as the streaming world of, yo, W's in the chat, yo, Subo, give me a dono and all of that stuff, I don't know that much about that. I just see other people do it.
All right, so now that we saw my highlights, let's see one of yours.
What is this? Oh shit.
When you hear about
this was like. I remember this. I remember this because this was. I think it was like you were one of the first in mainstream media to just straight up be like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, to Kanye,
yeah.
But it was also early on in this whole thing. So
He hadn't arrived at his final form yet.
Right.
And he was doing the I'm MAGA, I think, or he was.
Well, remember he had a moment at a concert somewhere where he talked about the fact that he loved President Trump and he did all of that stuff. But I was in the office one time and Harvey called me over to his desk and he shows me that he had gone out to Calabasas and met with Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why? And so then I came to work this morning, a little while after that, and I get to work. And when I'm coming in, Harvey goes, Kanye West is coming here today. I was like, no, bullshit. No, hell no. Why? Get the fuck out of here. Why would Kanye West come to TMZ? And legitimately, 20 minutes later, he shows up with Candace Owens.
Yep. I was about to say, Candace Owens was there as well.
Slavery for 400 years. For 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Shit.
You was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. And the reason why I feel like that is because, Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
Jesus. Bro, look how much weight I've gained. What the hell is going on?
Wait, what? No, what are you talking about?
But look, this was crazy shit. By the way, this is cut up. There's other stuff in there that Kanye said that day that TMZ took out.
Wait, I think they leaked it later, right? Or
They tried to leak it later.
I'm pretty sure because
Kanye went on a Hitler thing here.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw this.
But that got cut out.
So I'm pretty sure I saw that, or maybe heard about it because I had friends that were working at TMZ, including your former producer. I think I told you this.
Oh, yeah.
And what's really, the full length version is right here. What's really interesting about that is that I have a little bit of insider information on this because like he was doing the Hitler stuff with Candace Owens far before it became known publicly that he was doing like he was doing the Hitler pivot.
Oh, he was at the office.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. So let me tell you exactly what was said. So
I think the first time I heard about it was when he went to Africa, I think. And it was like with Big Sean.
So he says before this, so he was up there going crazy for a long time. He goes, I love everyone. And then he goes, I love everyone. Then he goes, I love Hitler. And there was a producer there named Evan Rosenblum. And Evan went, yo, that offends me, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, we get back to the office. The rest of the office is just transfixed, silent. When people have no idea what it's like for a celebrity of that magnitude to walk into a place like TMZ.
Because remember, chatters, you're thinking about Kanye in today's understanding of like what he represents now. This is when he's like, like, if you think people were still saying, but he made Graduation like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this was fucking in 2018.
Yeah, he had just come off of tour and all of this stuff going on. He is the biggest thing in the world. He is moving culture. He is moving tennis shoes. He is moving everything. And this also is sort of at not the very beginning, but we're not as deep into Trumpism as we are now.
Yeah.
So as far as celebrities or well-known figures who have aligned themselves with the MAGA Trumpism movement, he was a bellwether.
Yeah. And think about it this way. This is 2018, right? That's at this point 8 years ago. And 10 years prior to that, like he's close enough to the George Bush doesn't care about black people Kanye.
Yeah.
So like people are still thinking like, no, this is not, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, not only the George Bush moment, because that moment in and of itself, I'm from South Louisiana, so I was watching that when Hurricane Katrina was in my backyard. Like I'm still at home at that point. But Kanye's music, because of the intellectualism he has a great tribe. Kanye still has great people. He has people like GLC, like that have been around him for a long time. His mother was a brilliant woman. Everybody that you'll talk to that's around Kanye will tell you about how he was poured into by people that told him all about the world and stuff. So earlier on in his career, really all the way up through till things got a little bit commercial, Kanye wasn't just rapping. He was rapping about the state of the world and the condition of blackness and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So then this is like a big...
like a huge pivot, yeah.
Big pivot in a way that like doesn't really make any sense. But I still think that like the person who, I mean, obviously he takes ownership over this, right? Like, of course, I'm not like saying, oh, it's like mental illness. There are plenty of people who have issues, right? Like mental health complications. They don't turn into being pro-Hitler or whatever. But I think if there is one person that you can point to that led him down this pipeline, I still think it's Candace Owens.
Interesting.
I think Candace Owens played a big role in this because she was the only person I can think of in his orbit that was already there. Because she was doing the white supremacist commentary as a black woman as a professional career at that point. She was 2 years into it.
The only thing I would say is that I think she and a lot of other people, most recently, he has the entire cauldron of right-leaning figures. He's got Milo Yiannopoulos, he had Nick Fuentes, he had Candace Owens, all kinds of people around him.
Yeah, but this was before Fuentes.
Way before.
Way before that.
Like way before. But right here, he put her on though. So Candace Owens, so Kanye was doing his free thought thing, right? Candace Owens was at some event somewhere. Maybe it was for, I don't know if she was with TPUSA at that point or like what was the first group that she was with. And there were Black Lives Matter protesters that were there. And they stood up and they challenged her and she said, hey, these people are reacting emotionally and all that. Kanye then put that out. He tweeted that and said, I like the way this person thinks.
Yeah.
So he had been on that a little bit before she got there, but I do think that what she helped do was crystallize and then distill for him a worldview that was grounded in whatever conservative ideals she thinks are important.
All right, let's take a look at the extended edition here.
Listen to this, please. 2 days before I was in the hospital, I was on opioids. I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work.
Look who's in the back.
That's Charlie Kirk.
Look who's in the back.
I'm
so excited. You guys see his fucking gummy ass grin even behind that fucking phone.
That is Charlie Kirk. Now, here's the deal. It took somebody like a couple of weeks ago, someone goes, you've met Charlie Kirk before. And I go, no, I haven't.
Oh, you had forgotten?
I did not in any way remember that he was there.
Yeah.
This was still kind of early on. She was kind of buzzing and Brent, I did not remember in any way that he was there. And I'm on the phone with somebody from TMZ. He's like, man, he came to the office. And I'm like, what? When? It's like, he was with Candace. It wasn't just Candace. It was Charlie Kirk as well.
This is when he was my main #1 op because we would debate at this thing called Politicon.
Oh, I've heard of Politicon
And the second time I debated him at Politicon, he was wearing the Kanye, the Yeezys, like under his suit as a flex. Because at that point it was like,
have we heard anything from Kanye West about Charlie Kirk?
You know what? No, we haven't.
I don't think we have.
No.
Which is insanely interesting.
The only thing I've heard from Ye is the insane, very weird video that he did with that one like Orthodox rabbi.
Saw that.
Where he was like apologizing to all Jews or something. It was such a strange fucking video.
Yeah.
It was the most like Kanye way to do to manage that conversation.
Right, because if you wanted to actually atone, there's a normal, sensible way to come out and have the conversation.
And be like, I'm sorry, whatever.
Right, but he would do it in the most Kanye way that you would do something like that.
Yeah, Rabbi Pinto, who also has like a, interestingly enough, also has a litany of strange associations as well from the Israel side. So there's some additional strangeness on his background as well that I dove into.
To be able to sit here.
But anyway, let's get back to Charlie Kirk.
Opioids, right? Then my boy, and I'd always ask my boy, to hand me if it's, we on tour, give me some weed, blah, blah, blah. So he had to go give me the opioids. And there was talks amongst my camp, like Ye's popping pills, right? So when he handed this to me, he said, this is used to kill genius, right? So I didn't take it. 2 days later, I'm in the hospital. I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7.
That he always has, like, whether intentionally or unintentionally, great comedic timing. Because, like, that reminds me of when he was like, I had a doctor. I won't say what kind of doctor. He was Jewish.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Kanye and Trump are the same guy. The fact that Kanye is legitimately charismatic, legitimately funny, legitimately commands the room. I mean, Trump doesn't have one iota of the artistic genius that Kanye had. But Kanye and Trump, the way this, when y'all are watching this, don't pay attention to everything else, like to what he's saying. You could if you wanted to, but it's like goobly gosh. Pay attention to the legitimate trance that he has the office in.
Yeah.
He said a couple of things in this. After a while, I'm really feeling like, yo, y'all dead ass right now? He just gonna like say all of this stuff. Nobody gonna say nothing?
Well, I mean, I
do give Evan credit.
But there's also there's a lot of white liberals in that room, and they're not gonna.
Not as many liberals as you would think are in that room right now.
Okay.
So the reason why I denounced, why I dropped those tweets and everything, because I was drugged the fuck out, bro. And I'm not drugged out. These pills that they want me to take 3 of a day, I take 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. Y'all had me scared of myself, of my vision. So I took some pills so I wouldn't go to the hospital and prove everyone right. We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today it all changes. You got Tupac and Lennon in that hallway. Today, it all changed.
For a second, I thought it was fucking. I was like, I did not see Lennon on the hallway.
Yeah.
It's not the Lennon I was thinking of.
You were thinking about.
We need to think how to think free.
Yeah, I don't think Harvey is a big fan of Lennon.
Yeah.
We need to be free thinkers. Then we need to learn how to feel free. People say feel free, but we don't even know how to feel free or think free. Say what you feel, positive or negative. I just got off the phone with J. Cole. He said, how'd you feel when they said the Crips is gonna kill you? I said, man, that was the headline. But when they said they wanted to beat me up, I said, that's great. They're my brothers. They love me. They don't want nothing to happen to Ye. They just want to beat some sense into me. I love Daz. I love the Crips. I love the Bloods. I love everyone. How many people are feeling...
Right
That's
there.
where he says, I love Hitler?
That's where he says, I love Hitler.
Okay, so even
Go back to cut, I love everyone. Cut.
I love the Bloods. I love everyone. How many people?
Cut. I love Hitler. It says right there in the office. Say right there in the office.
Look at Harvey.
Look
at Harvey's face.
Yeah. But I will say this about Harvey, and I don't know this. I don't know whether or not Harvey was loving this or whether or not they were legitimately like Harvey and Charles on TMZ Live. Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Like, he is up there to give an interview to them, and then he turns around and starts addressing the room.
Yeah.
People are feeling. How many people felt something that I said today? Raise a hand if you felt something that I said today.
Candace.
Oh my God. Charlie's not raising his hand.
Charlie doesn't. Charlie not fucking with it.
Yeah, no, because he's too busy uploading the video being like, Kanye West, total domination of libtards in the media at TMZ.
Is that Tim Pool?
Do you feel that I'm feeling, do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
Yes.
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. And the reason why I feel like that is
because Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives.
Oh, you mean you and Kanye?
Yeah, why it look like we could? I was still rocking the part at that time. Excuse the part,
to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Every day we have to walk into that truth while you choose to say things that, to be honest with you, dog, are nonsensical. You want to think freely? that's fine. I'll combat your free thought with my free thought because mine is grounded in a reality that I've been given and a reality that I'm going to change, but I'm not going to do it.
He did not like that.
Well, so this is what happens when I get so TMZ did me a little favor. I am rambling here, but this is gonna sound so lame. Y'all, I was so hurt. And let me tell you why I was so hurt. In this moment right here, this is me channeling a whole bunch of emotions in real time. Number one, I'm legitimately hurt. Kanye West was not just the biggest rapper in my life, he was my cultural mascot.
Mm-hmm.
In hip hop, a lot of times, Baton Rouge, you listening to the rap and you hear little messages in the rap, and it's like, yo, if you ain't slinging dope, if you ain't thugging, you ain't shit. And you like, God damn, I'm not selling dope, I'm not thugging. Then a guy comes along who's college dropout, who's rapping about things that you can get to a little bit more. It's got soul in his music. He kind of was somebody that I related to and identified with. By the time I get to TMZ, though, it's like 2011. And so by that point, it's the Kanye Kim era. So all of the decade before that Kanye was working and doing all of that stuff, he's a different type of celebrity now. And the office is taking shots all the time. I'm defending him all the time. I'm defending everything that Kanye West does all the time. So I'm thinking two things. Number one,
you're dick riding a little bit.
I'm dick riding. I'm dick riding big time. Like, number one. And by the time he gets here, two things are happening. Number one, I'm legitimately emotionally hurt by how he's acting. Number two, this motherfucker is embarrassing me. He's embarrassing me in front of all of these fucking white people in here talking some Hitler, slavery didn't exist, all of that. I'm looking around, they into it. I'm embarrassed and I'm emotionally hurt. I'm trying to find what do I say to let everybody in this room know that they can't say the shit that he's saying. I mean, you can say it, but that none of that is what we believe. So I'm in real time trying to decode my brain while he's doing what he's doing right now.
Damn, this guy's good.